78. And from this vantage point, it appears dry weather will hold right through the weekend. Sunshine, patchy cloud cover both Saturday and Sunday. High Saturday 72 and Sunday's high close to 70. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, 71 right now in Hartford. Again, markets down this Tuesday. The Dow off 92. NASDAQ's down 223 points, and the S&P is down 40. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News.
At Lenses Only Optical Centers, we believe clear vision should be convenient and affordable. That's why we've got 5 locations ready to serve you. With locations in Avon, Bloomfield, Torrington, Wethersfield, and now Plainville. There's a Lenses Only Optical Center near...
Yeah, a few extra commercials this break.
Frames and top quality lenses. Our experienced team is dedicated to helping you find the perfect look and the perfect fit. With personalized service every step of the way. 5 locations, 1 mission, your vision. Visit the Lenses Only Optical Center today.
It's not just about watching the game. It's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Catch the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it. It's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Catch the Ticket. Follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-953-1788. 800-953-1788. 800-953-1788.
Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's the difference between...
1 minute.
And most elder planning services? Alair Elder Law is a law firm, which means we can advise you on asset protection and next step planning to avoid probate and protect the other spouse for their future needs. For example, after working to protect assets from the Medicaid spouse, the healthy spouse needs a special will to keep protecting things in future. With other services, if you're just getting the Medicaid application and not necessary legal documents or strategies, you're getting much less, and often for the same price. Medicaid processing companies can be slow. They may sound like a good deal, but a lot of times they put the work on the family's shoulders, which could mean it takes more time, which costs money when paying for care. Our job is education as much as execution. Finally, please ask the question, are you being referred to a Medicaid planning reasons, or might they be steering you? I'm Haley Alair. For comprehensive senior planning for your family, the right choice is Alair Elder Law, compassionate counsel, and proven results. AlairElderLaw.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
These people today don't know what a strike is. When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but Harold Daggett sounds like a mob boss to me. If I ever heard one, it's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC on this October 1st, Rabbit 2024 on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I don't know about you, but that Daggett guy, he sounds like a boss. I'm from New York, and you know, in my community where I grew up, they sort of looked idyllically at people like Daggett, the way he spoke, the way he carries himself. There were a lot of people, you know, the elites, who were looking at him going, oh my God, you're going to shut down the country. And there are others who are rooting for him and rooting for his union members. But it is going to affect everyone, and he knows it. He knows that he has the country by the short ones. He gets it. You may not agree with him. You may be upset that they offered him 50% of his pay. You might be upset that that man makes $900,000 a year. But if you watch that interview and you know that there are people in his industry who give themselves $4 billion bonuses, that there are French companies in this industry that gave their workers 50 months of pay as a bonus. And then they sit down with the people who work the docks and just offer them 50% of their salary, knowing that they are the life's blood. I mean, they're the main artery for everything. The industry is in a panic all over the country, if not the globe. Say what you want, but truth be told, this man is in the driver's seat. The president may be able to force them back to work. He might, but it'll be for 90 days. What happens after that? It's a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And trust me, I'm talking to people in Connecticut, people who are in the food industry, supermarkets for that matter. Yeah, they are working on contingency plans because several things are going to happen. They're going to run out of food. My wife just ordered on Costco. There are no paper towels and no toilet papers. They're gone. And everybody knows in the industry, this could be hell. This is unlike the supply chain problems we had 2-3 years ago. This is far worse. This is a purposeful shutdown. So, average citizens have to buckle up. Don't panic. Just get the supplies that you need. Someone's going to sit down. They will. I'm hoping that it doesn't go 2-3 weeks. I'm hoping that this is a 2-week ordeal. Maybe cooler heads will prevail. Harold Daggert, the ILA president, will sit down and negotiate. Maybe he'll take 75% of his pay. Whatever. Maybe they'll take some other provisions as well. It's possible. Maybe they'll make it rough on him. But this guy, he's no one to tangle with. Have you heard his background? I've looked it up. This is I believe, a Politico article about Harold Daggert. Let me get this information up. I thought I had it sitting right in front of me. Here it is. According to the Politico article written about him, Mr. Daggert is a figure whose long union career has been shrouded in controversy. He joined in the 60s, late 60s. A third-generation ILA member, the longshoreman has worked for the union for 57 years, becoming the international president in July of 2011. Despite his imminent blue-collar credentials, the union baron has earned $728,000 last year from the ILA, plus another $173,000 as president emeritus of a local union branch. He previously owned a 76-foot yacht, the Obsession, as it was called, and has been spotted by his members riding in a Bentley, according to the New York Times. The Justice Department, which has reportedly lost 2 cases against Mr. Daggett, has accused him of being an associate of the Genovese crime family, one of the infamous 5 families of the U.S. Mafia, according to this article. That's what they wrote about him. They have not been able to touch him. He was charged with racketeering back in 2005. Mr. Daggett took the witness stand and portrayed himself as a mob target, despite evidence against him from a turncoat mafia enforcer saying that he was under the mob's control. During the trial, one of Mr. Daggett's co-defendants, a renowned mobster by the name of Lawrence Ricci, I guess, disappeared. His decomposing body was found in the trunk of a car outside a New Jersey diner several weeks later, with the killing still unsolved. Despite his union serving as a historic symbol of the grip of organized crime on union members, as depicted in the 1954 film On the Waterfront, Mr. Daggett was acquitted in both cases. The union leader has previously criticized the Waterfront Commission, set up to combat mafia control of the port, calling the allegations of mob influence total BS and a dark, ugly attack on Italian Americans. They've tried this guy before. That's the point we're making here. They've tried him before. They've come after him. He survived it. He's emboldened now. He told his 45,000 union members go on strike, and they did. That is a powerful statement from Maine to Texas. That's powerful. And it couldn't have happened at a worse time, because who's in charge? Does anybody remember Joe Biden running out to Michigan to go handle the United Auto Workers strike? How did that pan out? That's not working out very well. They may have been able to get these strikers off the street, but no one's happy with that. And Joe Biden knows he cannot negotiate with this man. That's why nothing's been done. Hell, to make matters worse, even the Commerce Secretary doesn't know anything about it, hasn't been focused on it. How's that possible? How is the Commerce Secretary unaware of that looming strike? She was asked about it, a couple of days ago? Let me see if I can get her audio. What's Gina's name here? Is this her audio here? Yeah, this is her right here. Gina Raimondo, who doesn't seem to know anything about what's going on in the country where she serves as Commerce Secretary. Here she is. Sorry, I got to get that up real quick.
Where have you been kind of focused and hearing on what would happen if the strike goes, let's say, longer than a week?
Again, I have not been very focused on that.
Well, what? The Commerce Secretary is in charge of everything related to commerce. The docks, the longshoremen, ships coming in, goods, that's in her purview. I haven't been paying attention to that. Why? Because she's running around with Kamala Harris trying to get her elected. What happened to the adults in the room? What happened, folks? You warned us that this thing was going to be handled, that we were finally going to get some real people, Washington people, inside that administration who are going to be able to deal with this. Oh, and if to make matters worse, folks, how y'all doing in Israel and Yemen? How y'all doing in Iran? How y'all doing? People are walking around here saying, oh my God, are we about to have World War III? Are we about to have World War III? We've got our longshoremen on strike. People may have to stockpile goods. No one knows how intense the conflict between Iran and Israel is going to get. We know Benjamin Netanyahu is talking to no one in the United States after they've been maligned and besmirched by this administration. Nothing is happening. These people aren't even seat fillers at this point. No one is at the wheel. Not sleeping at the wheel. No one is at the wheel. And I know people are sitting up here, you know, like I got that text message the other day. Well, I wish you would at least see it on both sides. Yeah. How do you feel about that now? Should we see this from both sides? Huh? Should we be raving about Kamala Harris changing the photograph on her social media pages? I support Israel. Huh? Should we be praising the administration about its platitudes and we're sitting in the situation room observing the situation? When are we going to get in the fight, coach? When are we going to put our feet down? Are we going to tell Iran don't again? How many times are we going to tell them don't? How's that working for you? The world's a mess. Please, with all due respect, and I say this, I don't mean to make it political, but I don't have a choice here, folks, because we all have a choice on November 5th. We all do. Please spare me your moral high ground. Are you feeling any joy about Kamala Harris today? Did you see her at the FEMA headquarters? Did you see her after the flooding and the hurricane? Did you see her? Did you see Joe Biden handling the situation from the beach? Spare me. Don't tell me about how moral your pick for president is in November. I don't want to hear it. Nobody was. It's the reason why you've all gone radio silent. You've all hush-hush, quietly. You've gone to sleep like this administration. Oh, this is going to make for prime time must-see TV during that vice presidential debate. This debate may be way more significant than any of the presidential debates. J.D. Vance is going to stomp the crap out of Tim Walz. They will not recover. If I'm J.D. Vance, I just go on the stage and I just go, ladies and gentlemen, it's absolute anarchy outside. It's chaos, turmoil. Where are the locusts? That's what I would be screaming. Where the hell are the locusts? I'll take Joe in New Hampshire in a little bit, not now. Just hold off on him. I don't want him to think I'm forgetting about him. But I won't hear a word from any liberals today. I know that. I won't hear from you on social media either. Because right now you're saying to yourself, what have I done? That's okay. You'll find a way to excuse, you'll make an excuse for yourself, just like you did for this administration in the last 4 years. But it'll be okay. Help's coming. Help's on the way. It feels good to say that. It feels really good to say that. Not that I need to rub it in anybody's faces, but the hell if it don't feel good. It's a horrible way to be vindicated because lives are at stake. People had to die to get here. And it didn't have to be this way. That's the sad part. We'll take a break. More news, more views, your phone calls. Stupidest thing I've read today. New York Times showing this anti-Semitism all over again. It's like they can't stop. We've got so much stuff to get into. It's gonna be a barn burner today. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Dan Andelman here, and even though I'm the Phantom Gourmet guy, I gave myself a goal of dropping 50 by 50. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, which is right around the corner. And guess what? I'm already down 23 pounds in just 4 weeks, thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 works no matter your age or weight number. How about 40 by 40, 60 by 60? Heck, you could be aiming for 80 by 80. And I'm just one of the 23,000 other clients who are proof. Here's the kicker. I'm still eating throughout the day. No starvation, no guilt. So I'm not just losing weight, I'm actually eating my way to it. With my Newton Awaken 180 coaches' support, there's no way I can fail, and they will not fail you either. Seriously, if I can do it in my line of work, anybody can do it. So what's your number? 10, 20, 40? Let's do it together with my solution for weight loss. Thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other. And for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking great sex, with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. In Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you get the one that's right for you.
You're welcome, John Beckman.
Blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
The days are shorter and the temperature is starting to drop. Remember, the local weather information you need is right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Accurate local weather information with Bob Cox and the WTIC weather team. Weekday mornings and afternoons on the 8th and around the clock. The local fall weather information you need is on WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, your smart speaker, or on the free Odyssey app. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. And now, a WTIC News Update.
3:30, 72 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Iran began launching missiles at Israel today.
More than 100 of them, we were told. They came in 2 salvos, and in both instances, the sky above me was lit up by those interceptors, blowing them up. We hear that one building in Tel Aviv was hit, but it does look as if most of them were blown out of the sky before they could do more damage. It wasn't only here in Tel Aviv, but also to the east of us and down south in the Negev.
CBS's Liz Palmer. A Pomfret man facing charges he abused a 1-month-old baby. The case dates back to August of last year. The infant brought to Day Kimball Hospital last August. The ER there with multiple rib fractures and brain bleeds. 22-year-old Zachary Bosalian is charged. Warren states he told police he fell on top of the baby after he slipped following breaking a glass. He's now charged with risk of injury, bond set at $100,000. On the heels of massive increases this summer, United Illuminating is looking for yet another rate hike. UI says it needs $105 million from state regulators for infrastructure projects. If it goes through, bills could wind up being as much as $15 more a month. Tim Walz, J.D. Vance to meet for their first and perhaps only vice presidential debate tonight. May also be the last debate for both campaigns to argue their case to the American people before the election. WTIC News Talk 1080 will air the vice presidential debate tonight, beginning at 9 o'clock. WTIC News Time, 3:32. Bob Larson has the forecast.
Times of clouds and sunshine the rest of this afternoon. High 74. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 53. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, a high close to 70. Turning out partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 52. Thursday, partly sunny. Very nice Thursday afternoon. High 74. And for Friday, partly sunny. Warm for October. The high up to 78. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street markets rattled a bit by the doings in the Middle East. The Dow's down 83. The NASDAQ is way off at 237. And the S&P is down 41 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Take a moment and think of one thing you really wanted to do recently, but you didn't because your foot, leg, or back pain got in the way. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store. Well, you're not alone. We hear it all the time. Folks are fed up with living with pain that's keeping them from doing what they love, and they look to us at the Good Feet Store for a solution. And that's why we're here, to help get you back out there. Good Feet arch supports, which you can only get at the Good Feet Store, are designed to alleviate and even eliminate foot, knee, hip, and back pain. Plus, they provide improved balance, more comfort, and, well, just a better life. We'd like to help you turn your pain into possibilities with a free fitting at the Good Feet Store. You'll be personally fit by an arch support specialist, and you'll get to walk around and see how Good Feet arch supports feel. Then you can decide if they're right for you. For over 30 years, the Good Feet Store has been helping people get back to doing the things they love without their feet getting in the way. Stop in today at the Good Feet Store in Avon, across from Whole Foods, or visit goodfeet.com.
Paid for by GLI LLC.
This is an important message for anyone who's on Medicaid and needs home care. Did you know that a family member, close friend, or even a neighbor can get paid to be your caregiver in the comfort of your own home? That's right. If you're on Medicaid, your child, grandchild, friend, or someone else you know and trust can be paid per hour to be your caregiver through a Medicaid-funded program. Just call 800-606-4420, and SilverCare will help you hire the loved one you choose to be your caregiver. SilverCare is based right here in Connecticut. As your neighbor, nobody cares more than SilverCare about getting your caregiver paid the best rates on time. If you're on Medicaid, this service is absolutely free for you. Just call 800-606-4420 right now. Get the home care you need from a loved one or known friend, and they can get paid to help you at home. Just call 800-606-4420. This service is absolutely free to you, and your relative or friend gets paid to be a caregiver. Just call 800-606-4420. 800-606-4420. 800-606-4420.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Brian Shackman here for Brian & Company and WTIC News Talk 1080. I have one word for you for Wednesday's show. One word. Beer. It is all about beer. Tim Restall, president of the Hartford Yard Goats, is going to join us, talk about this weekend's Brewfest at Duncan Park. And then Em Sauter will join us. She's an author and a beer expert, just got back from Munich and Oktoberfest. We're going to talk about fall winter beers and how to pair them with great food. Plus all your news, weather, and traffic. We'll talk about more than just beer. We have that vice presidential debate. It's Brian and Company, 5:30 to 9, Monday through Friday, right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Joe with Simple
man.
and I buy houses cash. If you own a house
gotta do
and
a
want to
promo,
sell
I
it
totally
fast
forgot.
at a fair price,
Oh, that just reminded you, huh?
It did.
896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080. I got to pay some respects to a man who I grew up with, and there are two times in his life, his career, that will always sort of give me a smile. Because, in essence, one, I grew up with him as, I would say one of the toughest dads on television. There's never been a more respectful father figure on television who was stern. He did not clown himself. He was a strong leader of a family, and they got rid of him on that show because of it. But I gotta play some respect for him today. You might remember this one line when they killed his character off this iconic TV show.
Damn.
That was Florida Evans from the show Good Times. We regretfully announce that famed actor who got an Emmy nomination as the elder Kunta Kinte in Roots. But again, I said the second time he was ever in anything that I loved was when, having not seen him in a long time, he shows up as the bad guy in Die Hard 2. I will never forget that. I still, his character on Die Hard 2, just seeing his face on that screen, knowing that he was still out there acting and doing his thing. John Amos was a absolute icon, a hero of mine. And primarily the reason why I loved him, let me tell you why I loved him. When I found out that he would not stand for Norman Lear making a buffoonery of that show, Good Times, because they wanted to focus more on JJ and his dynamite. They wanted to sell lunchboxes, and he wouldn't have it. He didn't like the buffoonery of a black family on television. He didn't want to go down that road, so they killed him off. And I've always applauded him for that. And that, to me, that's conviction. And he's always been a hero for that. He's been a good soldier for that. It had nothing to do with him being black. He stood on his morals, and I'll always appreciate that from him. Anyway, with that, let's go to the phones. Joe is in New Hampshire. How you doing, Joe?
Hey, Reverend. I've talked to you in the past about October and the Black Swan event that could bring all the markets down. Well, I think we've arrived at that moment with two events, the Middle East and the shoreman strike with that union leader.
If people talk about the October surprise, but you at least think, okay, maybe October 8th, maybe the 7th. All of these events happening on the 1st, it seems, it lends itself to the all planned, or as you said, Black Swan event. You're right. But I don't think that that's the beginning. I don't think that's it. I think it's only the beginning.
There's an October 7th event already planned. Now, my sources tell me there's so many terrorists that were led across the border here in the United States with all the weaponry.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. They're just waiting for the mullahs to say, go. You're in the interior of the United States. Can you imagine the attack that was perpetuated October 7th in that town in southern Israel? I think there were about 2,000 terrorists and over 1,200 people killed. But, the first thing they did, this is their MO, they go right to the police station and wipe out the police force.
Yep.
Whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you see 20, 30, 50 American towns, especially near the border, just being overrun by thousands of these people that were led in with all the weaponry, and they take out the police force first? Yeah, they take heavy casualties.
Right.
But what's a town going to do? A town of 50,000 like that Ohio town. What are they going to do if their police force is wiped out?
Think about this situation, again, that lends itself to all of this is at the same time that Iran is firing missiles into into Haifa, near Tel Aviv, in Jaffa. While all that's happening, at a light rail in Jaffa, there are 2 gunmen who have now killed 8 people on the ground simultaneously while this is happening. So this is a coordinated effort. You're right. It gives this essence of Black Swan event, so to speak. But I know that this is nowhere near over. The part that really infuriates me is the Pentagon is saying they will do anything and everything they can to keep this from becoming a broader conflict. How do you think the Pentagon is going to answer the call to get this thing nipped in the bud or tampered down? There's only one way.
Iran last hour came out with this warning to the United States.
Mm-hmm. Saying don't get involved?
Our warships took down a lot of those missiles that came in, the 191. Our warships...
We're already involved. I know that.
I
know we're already involved. But what I'm saying is, what do you think when the Pentagon says we're going to find a way to squash this? How do you think they're going to do it? I know exactly how they're going to do it. They're going to tell the mullahs that, look, we got another couple $2 billion for you.
Well, they'll be bought off with a huge amount of money. But this is what the warning that came out last hour is this. If we do anything more than what we've already done, they're going to go into Iraq and wipe out our military. What do we have, 1,500, 2,000 soldiers there? They're going to wipe out our military in Iraq. That's the warning.
This is the reason why I will never criticize Benjamin Netanyahu, because he has taken the fight to them and Iran has responded. I don't think, like I said, Iran's got to ask itself whether or not they want a full-scale war, because if they do, there's no other choice. You've got to take out the nuclear. You have to take out their nuclear capability. You have no other choice. You can take out their strategic positions in and around, which they've already done. But you have got to take out their nuclear facilities, because guess what? If it's a full-scale war, those mullahs will use nuclear weapons. They will. If they've enriched enough uranium, even to use one bomb, one missile, you've got to eradicate them, because they don't care. And for them, they think death is the beginning. So I wouldn't play with it.
You will see China and Russia enter the fray with forces.
No, actually, nope. I don't believe that at all. I believe that for Iran, even in BRICS, I believe that Iran is an outlier in BRICS when it comes to Russia and China. They don't want any parts of that. Remember, their infrastructure would be damaged just as well. I wish they would tell Iran to tamper down, but I don't think that's going to happen either. Go ahead.
Can I comment on the strike?
Real quick.
Okay. By the way, the oil industry that I contacted today about what's going on, they said that oil contracts have been suspended beyond 1 day at a time. So I would recommend all the listeners, if you want to top off your oil tanks for the winter, don't wait another day.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to my brother. I'm going to talk to my brother in Odessa. He works in the industry. I'm going to call him after the show.
Yeah, the strike, listen to that president of the strike and his ties to the family. I listened to Jimmy Hoffa back in the day and his impassioned speeches. This guy has as much, if not more than Jimmy Hoffa's ire and his ties to the crime family, just like Jimmy Hoffa disappeared because of his ties to the crime family. I suggest that when Frank from Woodbridge calls in, you keep him on the line and let him bust through the show today and maybe take some calls. I'm serious, because Frank from Woodbridge knows exactly how this is going to come out as far as the strikers and what has to be done.
Like I said, I don't think it'll last a week, but you know what? It very well could. Thank you, Joe. Let's go to Everett.
Thank you.
You got it. Everett's in East Hartford. How you doing, sir? Thanks for holding.
Good. Thank you for taking my call. Yeah, and I want to say hi to all my friends that listen to your show. Hey, everybody, it's me.
What do you got for me, sir?
Hey, the other side of this that this brings out is the fact that our politicians over the last 40 or 50 years have pushed all our industries into other countries because of our rules, regulations, and to save the planet.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we were able to win World War II was because we could outproduce and outmanufacture everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh,
do not have
you bring
that
up such a great
capability.
point, Everett. That's, again, this strike, if it doesn't emphasize one thing that Donald Trump has been saying on the campaign trail since 2015, is that we need Made in America. The industries must come back to the United States, or we are at the foothold. We literally have the foot of foreign entities or foreign actors on our throat, because in essence, that's what these industries are now fearful of, that everything that they rely on is coming from overseas and nothing is produced here. We consume more than we produce. We've got to get back to that.
Yeah, well, and again, it has to do with these bureaucrats that are unelected making all this red tape to prevent anybody from expanding their business and actually making a go of it in this country.
Yep.
Once you get so big, they want to crush you. Oh, you're big business. Well, when big business goes away, who's going to hire the people in my town?
Exactly. And they don't even understand that you want not only, listen, if the CEO or a business, let's just say that, if a business grows and they retain or gather more profit, they're inspired to grow. Wow, people like our product. Let's make more of it. Let's build more factories. Let's be able to serve more people across the country. And they keep building and building, and they create jobs for people. And the more money that those companies get, or the more expansion that happens, more and more people are employed, more and more people make money because of that.
More money stays home.
And more money stays home, exactly. But when you start telling these people that they're criminals because they make too much money, and it only inspires them to leave and go elsewhere and have their stuff shipped back in. And if this feckless, and I mean feckless administration, won't even put tariffs on them or even punish them for leaving, you can't really punish a guy for leaving anyway. But if you can't punish them for leaving and then bringing their goods back into because they're made cheaper, it creates a bigger problem for the people who are in this country. And they know it, but yet they still hustle backwards. And I don't understand why they keep doing it.
Yeah, one more thing on the political point. People have to realize this: we're in this position because of the people that are sitting in office right now.
Indeed.
So you really need to think about who's the incumbent, whether it's in your town or it's in the state or if it's the federal government. You really need to take a serious look at these people.
And how they respond to this stuff. You know what I mean? As this stuff persists, like, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing now? If you can't handle a hurricane after we dealt with Hurricane Katrina, one of the most devastating hurricanes ever, with Hurricane Rita behind her, with all of the lessons we learned there, that we can have a devastated town in Western North Carolina, and we have a president of the United States dealing with it from a beach at his home in Rehoboth, knowing the optics of flying over it like George W. Bush did look incredibly awful, shows that we learned nothing, and this administration is incapable of handling those problems. And there has to be a change. It just has to be. We just got to get, this whole idea of normalcy or political normalcy, that's a done deal. The what do you call it? The term I'm looking for is not rank and file, but status quo. The status quo, it doesn't work anymore. Political means for political means doesn't work anymore. That's all.
Yeah, I hope most people get involved in politics because it's going to come bite us. As the Reverend say, the rooster's going to come home to
Reverend Jeremiah, right? Indeed. Thank you, sir. All right, we got to take a break. Hold on, Jeff in Marlboro. We'll get back to you in a minute. We got more news and more views and more on this topic. I've got a lot of audio about this as well. When we return, it's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion.
What's going on, Michael A.? I think my voice is going.
She's an experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928.
Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your
1 minute.
But finding those people can be a major hassle. Unless you
I
use
just sat down.
ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. You can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the
Such a good point, Michael A. Who will fill in for the fill-in?
experience, the ease, efficiency.
Yeah, 10.
ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080. Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Is that sound effect a bowling ball hitting pins? That sound effect at the end sounds exactly like that. We're back. Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. We'll get to Jeff and Marlboro in a second. But I want to say, I'm not getting sick. My voice is a little hoarse. That's weird because it just happened out of nowhere. I didn't even do a lot of talking today because, I'm pretty much a loner. I was hanging out by myself. But I don't want anybody to freak out. The fill-in will not need a fill-in, okay? I never get sick. In fact, my wife rags on me all the time. She says, you never get sick. The last time I had the flu, I had it for 12 hours. And I was up and at 'em the next day. I don't get sick. I have a very, very good immune system.
I'm knocking on wood.
No, I don't have to knock on wood. Listen to me. I ate dirt and drank from a garden hose, okay? All right? I understand how germs work, okay? I'm not fearful of them. When you guys were all doing the scrubbing stuff down with the during COVID-19 and wiping all the stuff down, with the Clorox pads, no, absolutely not. I was bathing in dirty water. Okay, there I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm kind of a germaphobe in that area. Jeff is in Marlboro. How you doing, Jeff? Thanks for holding.
Hey, Reese, I'm doing all right. Thank you for taking my call. I also ate dirt and drank from a garden hose, and when I call in sick, doesn't necessarily mean I'm sick.
Damn right.
But I'd like to start off my call with an apology to Roland.
Okay.
Roland?
Oh, for yesterday?
Roland, I'm sorry if I insulted your hometown. I would not want my hometown buried by seawater either. I just think we got to make it safer for people who live there. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Accept it.
Oh, look at that. Oh, we're making friends. Absolutely incredible. Okay. Anyway, Jeff, what is your call about? I'm assuming, what do you want to talk about? The ILA? You want to talk about the strike, or you want to talk about the Iran strike?
None of that. Actually, just something local. I've heard nothing but police. I live in Marlboro, obviously. I'm Jeff from Marlboro. I live in Marlboro. I live right on the town line of East Hampton, and I'm wondering if any of the other listeners know what's going on in that town. I've heard nothing but police cars and sirens driving by for the last hour and a half.
Really?
And yeah, and I was uptown and I saw at least a dozen, and I'm not overstating this, a dozen state police troopers whizzing through my town heading towards East Hampton. So I don't know what's going on over there.
Oh, that's interesting. If anyone is in the area and you have any details about it, the police activity that Jeff is talking about, please let us know. Hopefully it's nothing like, serious. It sounds like it might be a domestic situation.
The most serious thing we usually get the car accident, but you usually see a fire truck or an ambulance, but it was mostly police cars.
Wow.
So I don't know what's happening over there.
Well, I'm checking at least all of the East Hampton blog sites. You know what I mean? If anybody's put anything in there, I'm getting nothing as of yet. It looks pretty quiet. It could be. Yes, very strange. If anybody does know, if you're covering that area or you've seen exactly what Jeff is talking about, please give us a call, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Thanks. I appreciate you, Jeff. Thanks for the heads up. Let's get to our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, Mark? Anything in the traffic report about this?
No, I don't have anything on it yet, but we'll keep an eye out for it. If you are heading into downtown Hartford,
Boys got caught with a trunk full of keys. That's what that is.
before 46 Cicero Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue, westbound 84 is tight, Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney, southbound 91 some slow traffic as you move between exit 37 and 36, slow, and again 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91 that moves well, Cromwell through downtown up into the Windsor exits. You're going to see.
Thank you, Jason. Please send my best to the wife as well. I really appreciate it. Tara, a school in East Hampton is on lockdown. A woman made a threat against the school. Is this just happened recently?
Into Marlboro. If you're heading into
Okay, I'll make a note of it.
Westbound 84 is tied up.
If there's a link, Tara, that you have to that, please put it in the chat room. Thank you.
If you're 84 eastbound in Danbury, slowing by 5. 84 eastbound again, tight 10 to 11 in Newtown. And 91 in the Parkway, both moving well, heading down in toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Mixture of clouds and sunshine the remainder of today with a light breeze, high 74. Partly to at times mostly cloudy tonight, then overnight low of 53. Clouds, only a few sunny breaks tomorrow, high around 70 tomorrow afternoon, then partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 52. Could see some upper 40s tomorrow night across outlying areas. Thursday, partly sunny, pleasant Thursday afternoon with a high of 74. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Vacation is over, school is back in session, and WTIC News Talk 1080 is part of your daily routine with news, weather, and traffic updates, plus local talk shows to keep you informed and entertained. It's back to the grind, but we'll help you get through it. WTIC News Talk 1080 on your radio, your smart speaker, and the free Odyssey app. WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
4 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC.
Be right back.
80 News. Iran fired 180 missiles at Israel today. Correspondent Christopher Cruz has the latest.
Israel says its air defense system detected and intercepted many of them. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says the U.S. helped protect Israel from the rockets.
We're proud of the actions that we've taken alongside Israel to protect and defend Israel.
We have made clear that there will be consequences, severe consequences for this attack, and we will work with Israel to make that the case.
He spoke at the White House. During the attack, reporter Linda Gradstein heard the air raid sirens and took shelter in her safe room.
The way you react in some ways depends on your personality. I'm kind of a laid back person, and all I was thinking about is that I should have put a bottle of scotch in my safe room, which I have now done, and some glasses. But, not to make light of it, it is a bit scary, but the chances of the missile hitting specifically my building in Jerusalem, I think, are pretty small.
There have been no reports of deaths, injuries, or damage.
Making an appearance in the town of Monroe, government officials are reminding those with property damage from the torrential August 18th rainstorm that there is help available. State Economic and Community Development Commissioner Daniel O'Keefe says his agency has delivered $4 million in grants, and there's more available. He says their aid will reach beyond the original estimate of about 200 businesses.
I can tell you we have over 300 active applications. So our estimates, unfortunately, were too low. We are going to expand the program. We are not going to turn away a business in need.
Now, FEMA has dispensed $3 million for home repair and other needs. The agency is opening disaster recovery centers this week in Southbury and Wilton. The Small Business Administration is also offering loans. It has opened recovery centers in Monroe and in hard-hit Oxford. Parts of the U.S. still reeling from the damage wrought by Hurricane Helene.
I'm Jim Crisula in North Carolina. Search and rescue efforts continue in the mountains of western North Carolina and East Tennessee. 5 days after Hurricane Helene dumped historic amounts of rain, leading to catastrophic flooding. Hundreds remain missing. President Joe Biden plans to visit the flood-ravaged region Wednesday.
More than 135 have been killed as a result of the storm. State police charging a Pomfret man with risk of injury after they say he abused a child last year. Investigation began in August of 2023. 22-year-old Zachary Bosalil is charged. According to an arrest warrant, the 1-month-old was brought to Day Kimball Hospital with multiple rib fractures and brain bleeds. Troopers say the suspect told them he broke a glass, tripped and fell on the baby.
Dry weather is going to
Then
continue,
airlifted
and
to UMass
warm
Memorial
weather.
Hospital due to the severity of the injuries. Doctors say the injuries were consistent with shaken baby syndrome. Police say Bosalil had conducted web searches for rib fractures prior. He's being held on a $100,000 bond. Rosh Hashanah begins at sundown on Wednesday. The celebration of the Jewish New Year is tempered somewhat this year, says Rabbi Yosef Wolbowski at Chabad Jewish Center in Glastonbury. He says, given that, the main message remains the same.
It's a time for fresh energy and for really recommitment to our positive values. The values of unity, the values of kindness, the values of empathy.
Faith will sound the shofar or the ram's horn, ushering in the new year. Moldavsky says another of the traditions include eating apples and honey to signify a sweet new year. Some good news to report on the jobs front.
The government reports that there were 8 million job openings, a gain of about 300,000 from July when another decline was expected. The closely followed quits rate fell to 1.9% from 2.1%, indicating an increasing number of Americans are satisfied with their current jobs.
CBS business reporter Jason Brooks and the Closing Bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow down 173 points, NASDAQ down 278, S&P down 53. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If you've got high blood pressure, there's a 50-50. You're a walking time bomb. Thankfully, you can take control of your blood pressure with a drink called 120 Life. 120 Life is formulated with ingredients that have all been shown to help naturally lower blood pressure. Go to 120life.com. Use the code JUICE for 15% off. We'll refund your money if you're not fully satisfied. Go to 120life.com. There's nothing to lose.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal, literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interests in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a Realtor.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Thank you, folks. Everybody who's in the chat room who sent me a link about the information happening in East Hampton. We are aware of what's taking place. I think that they said it was a threat of a school shooter at East Hampton Middle and High School, or at least in the vicinity. Police officers rushed to that scene to make sure that someone there was to respond to that, but it turned out to be a false alarm. There are other reports that someone is in custody for making that threat. They believe that the person who made the threat was not on the premises. So that was the reason, Jeff. In Marlboro, the police officers were rushing to that scene to render aid if necessary. So that's good to know. I was glad to hear that it's a false alarm and no one was indeed hurt or in harm's way. But we're seeing a lot of that in Connecticut. And I believe that there's something else going on because this rash of it is happening. Just all of it. This isn't something that you do like as a something as a prank, like a passing fad. Something else is going on. It's always in between the lines. I like to read between the lines on things like this. I think that there is an effort to change the sort of atmosphere of school protection. Because what do? You're putting police in harm's way, but you're also putting children in harm's way. And this seems like a sick, cheap thrill if it's just a cheap thrill. It's a sick thing to do. It's like swatting. Somebody's going to end up getting really, really hurt from something like that. So, I don't know. Well, we'll hear more as more details come out. Let's get another check of the traffic on the 8s with Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now and you're on the eastbound side of I-84, you're going to see the delays kicking in now about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the downtown tunnel. Westbound side of 84 is slowing on the Bulkley Bridge, and then you're tight right up to exit 47 Sigourney Street. Southbound 91, look for slow traffic from exit 33 down to 32A and B. Northbound 91, easy ride Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound delays 26 to 25 in Waterbury. Again, moving up on the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little tight by 5 in Danbury. Again, 84 eastbound slowing in Newtown from 10 to 11. And 91 in the Parkway, good ride heading down in toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Intervals of clouds and sun the rest of today. The high is 74. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 53, and then mostly cloudy tomorrow. High about 70 tomorrow afternoon. Thursday, partly sunny. Pleasant Thursday afternoon, high 74. Warmer Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, and a high up to 78. Right now it is 70 in Farmington and 72 degrees in Meriden and 70 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Longing for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding thin and dull hair and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
At the Carter Mario Law Firm, we've recovered over $1 billion for injured people. When you need someone to fight for you, you need to get Carter in your corner. Visit GetCarter.com or call us at 877-GET-CARTER.
Hi, I'm Brian Kilmeade. I am so excited to be on WTIC right here in Hartford, Connecticut. I'll be bringing all the breaking news with perspective. Give you an idea what's happening, not only the election, but beyond, the things that matter to you on a daily basis. I promise to bring you the best guests, the most insight, and the most prepared. Fresh off Fox and Friends, I come up to do the Brian Kilmeade Show here on Fox News. Make sure you join me on WTIC. Hello, Connecticut. I hope I never have to say goodbye.
Isn't it time you thought about an estate plan for your family? Estate planning attorneys help prioritize and carry out personalized asset protection strategies. The law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott has served the legal needs of individuals and their small businesses since 1977. Our experienced estate planning team is ready to help. With Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, you get more than a lawyer, you get a law firm. Visit us at bpslawyers.com. Nancy Tanucci approved this ad.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
California side.
Oh, minute.
Deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, we only connect our customers with the best. We reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us, so we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I ain't kidding you, man. It's a mess out there. Hopefully it can get better. Reese on the radio. Your phone call's coming up, 860-522-WTIC. August the 17th, 2023. Donald J. Trump said this.
Crooked Joe Biden just agreed to pay a $6 billion ransom to the Iranian dictatorship in exchange for hostages. This is yet another Biden surrender and a further blistering humiliation of the United States of America to the world stage. But even worse, this decision will be extremely deadly. Biden is giving $6 billion to the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. Just as when Obama sent the Iranian regime pallets of cash for hostages in the dark of night, remember? Plane loads of cash. Biden's ransom payment will be immediately used to stoke violence, bloodshed, and mayhem throughout the Middle East and all around the world, costing countless innocent lives, putting Israel, the United States, and the entire world in very grave peril.
This is not one of those moments where you have to say, I told you so. But the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, he was put on the spot today, and he was asked, what's Joe Biden going to do? And the answer is absolutely astounding.
Last question, then I'll turn it over.
Thank you, Jake. In April, after Iran struck Israel, the U.S. issued a number of sanctions as a consequence. This morning, the president said there would be severe consequences if Iran carried out this attack. What are those consequences, and are they more severe than sanctions?
Totally legitimate question, and that answer will come based on the conversations and consultations we have with our Israeli counterparts. It's too soon for me to stand before you today and give you an answer. What I can tell you is this. We are proud of the actions that we've taken alongside Israel to protect and defend Israel. We have made clear that there will be consequences, severe consequences for this attack, and we will work with Israel to make that the case.
So we going to war? So we're going to strike back? So nothing's going to happen. Come on, let's be real here. Nothing's going to happen. It's a feckless administration. There's too many beta males, too many soy boys, too many I don't want to fight. Can we hug it out, bros? This whole administration is run by the likes of Tim Walz. Yeah. These guys never met a tampon they wouldn't put in the boys' bathroom. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. 860-522-WTIC. Matt's in Bristol. How are you doing, buddy?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. My wife is a little nervous, to be honest with you. I don't like the look on her face today, but she is like, she's not happy. She's over shopping. She's stockpiling. She's former military. So, you know what I mean? She's just like, she goes, something about this feels very COVID-like, So
I told the guy that I'm subcontracting for yesterday, if you got any materials to buy them now.
Yeah.
Buy 'em now.
It sucks that we have to. I think it sucks that we have to do this, but we're a month away. We're just a month away, and
By the way,
go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Finish.
No, I was just going to say we're a month away, if that, 3 months away. But the bottom line is when we look at something like this, when we can have one day, less than 24 hours, this much carnage to happen, you know what I mean? 3 months looks like a lifetime, all things considered. It can all go to hell in less than 24 hours. It makes it daunting to have to look forward. That's why I'm trying to keep a level head, but at the same time, I can't fool around. I know that this administration, when stuff like this happens, they don't know what to do with themselves. I know they're scrambling. It's obvious. But go ahead, now you go.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, you don't sound like a pony at all.
A pony?
You said you sounded like a little horse.
Oh, just shut up. Go away. You're the worst. I should have known from you that was going to... You suck. Go away. Make one last comment so I can let you go gracefully.
Okay. Yeah. Normally I agree with you on everything, but with this strike, I do not agree with you.
Talk to me.
This guy is a thug. This guy is an absolute thug, and they should just offer people, hey, we're going to give you $200,000 a year to come be dock workers for the next 10 years until we can automate, and then we'll give you guys a retirement, and that's it. And just cut these thugs off at the knees.
You know what? Look, listen, I hear you. That's the reason why I read that piece about his background where they tried to get him on racketeering. They've associated him with the Genovese family, everything that they've said about him. I'm just saying that with all of that, considering the position he's in, the fact that he has 45,000 ILA members who are going to stand with him, the man has power. I'm simply acknowledging his power. And the fact that he wouldn't take 50% of his pay for his workers shows that he's negotiating for more money. He sees these guys with a whole bunch of money, and he feels like you got to share it. Okay.
But that's my point. That's my point. This guy has too much power.
Oh, agreed.
There's plenty of guys out there, including myself. If they offer me $200,000 a year and a retirement package after 10 years, I would cross that picket line in a second and go and give them the bird as I went by.
Yeah, I don't want you to get the impression, look, I'm taking no sides. I'm not union friendly, folks. Let me put it this way. That's not fair. I'm not public worker union friendly. And I know I'm going to make some enemies when I say that. And if you got beef, send it here. I'll tell you about where that comes from. That's 860-522-WTIC, or just holler at me at reaseontheradio.com. But I've got beef with public worker unions. That's fire, police, and teacher. And I know there's some police officers who they know I got their back, but I got a problem with the public worker union. That's me. And I'll be happy to explain it. But that's...
If you work for the government, no unions, period, end of sentence.
Thank you. And I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate it. But you're right. I know this guy's a thug. That's why I'm keeping it... listen, as they say, keeping it 100, I'm keeping it 100 with you. I take no sides in this. I just know exactly how dire it is if this guy gets his way and it lasts for more than a week. It could be really serious in a month. By November, we could be talking about rationing. That's how bad it is.
Well, unless they just call in all the undocumented immigrants that Biden let in, they can have those docs. They can have those docs completely manned within 5 minutes and pay them half as much. And
Listen, you know what? Somebody mentioned that on another talk show. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Thank you, Matt, as always. George in St. Louis. Hold on for me 1 second, George. Stay on put him on the line. But George, hold on for me because I want to say this. Folks, I want you to go to reasonoradio.com right now. And I have a little section called, Well, That Was Weird. And the last video I had was a robot that took on a criminal and rolled over him and held him down for the police to get there. Well, I got a new video up of a dock in China, longshoremen in China. Go watch. I'm not even going to tell you what the video is. It's been circulating on Twitter. It's only got about 300,000 views. But go to my website right now, reasonoradio.com, and watch that video of what automation would look like. They've already started it in China. This is a real video of them. It's fully automated in China. It's about a good minute long. Watch that video, and that's what this guy, Daggert, is trying to stop in the longshoreman industry. Now, George, thank you for holding. What can I do for you, sir?
Hi, Reese. I think it's time to examine our the communists that were voted in 2020, especially the climate change policy. Look what's happened. It's a fallacy. Climate change. We've had, instead of importing oil, we need 19 million barrels of oil every day. Instead of importing oil, we've been forced to import oil rather than export it.
Right.
Now, look what's happened. Russia is financing their war with oil.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this is going down. Iran, same thing. They're financing their war with oil. They're buying uranium from Russia, and they're getting their missiles from North Korea and Syria, all with oil revenues, because we've had a climate change problem, a fallacy rather, that have diverted funds and given all of these extra oil revenues to both Russia and Iran, all because of the idiot climate change policy that have changed the whole complexion of our economy.
Yeah,
we have to stop this stuff. It's time you took a good look at this and realized that this is going to kill us. That it's instigating war, and it's upending the peace all over the world right now because of idiot climate change policy.
We need activists. Listen, we need activists on the opposite side to push back this narrative, to explain to them why we need to drill our own oil so we are not at the behest of foreign actors. Because, again, another thing that people are forgetting about this ILA strike is that some oil is coming on those ships as well, and they are going to anyone who refines oil, as they do in Texas, that stuff is going to be shut down. There'll be no oil, and you can imagine there's either going to be gas shortages, right? There's going to be either gas shortages or the price of gas is going to skyrocket, even if it's for a little while. With this administration talking about how they were able to get it down below $3 over the last couple of weeks, we're going to see that number go straight through the roof.
By the way, Reese, these negotiations have been going on since June.
Oh, I know.
And Biden's been sitting on the beach rather than taking an active role settling this. This blood of Harris and Biden,
indeed,
and the dock workers strike is on their hands.
And they have and I know they have no plans to fix it. Thank you, George. Let's go to Ralph in South Carolina. How you doing down there, buddy?
Good, Reese. I got 3 questions I'd like to see asked tonight.
Okay. Is one of them going to be about abortion? No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Yeah.
Go
First
for it.
One is, aren't you glad your mother didn't have an abortion?
What?
First question. Second question is, how many young men do you know that you can name me that get a menstrual cycle every month?
That's going to get asked.
How many?
That's going to get asked, and he is going to get pummeled for that.
And the third one, Reese, is going to be, will you take responsibility for these 11, 12, 13-year-olds who you allowed to have a sex change without their parents' permission, and they find out that they made a big mistake and did the wrong thing a couple years down the road? Will you take responsibility for that?
I don't listen. I will tell you right off the bat, Ralph, what is absolutely certain tonight is that J.D. Vance, if given the proper opportunity to, is going to force so many things for Tim Walz to have to answer for that he is going to be a blubbering fool on that stage. They are waiting for him to do that because they will say that his performance or his poor performance would be the reason why Kamala Harris lost. But this is, again, the bar for Tim Walz is so high. He's got to make it look like, because J.D. Vance is in most cases the bigger enemy than Donald Trump is tonight, because J.D. Vance, in essence, is the heir apparent. And if J.D. Vance looks presidential, they know that the MAGA movement, as it were, isn't over once Trump leaves. So that's the reason why there's a high hurdle for Tim Walz, and I don't think he'll meet it at all.
Well, I certainly pray that he rips into pieces, and he should be able to, because his record is terrible, and now they're saying they're finding more lies.
Oh, yeah, and now there's a Chinese connection. I'll say this before I go, Ralph. Here's a crazy part. Someone reported it yesterday, and I think it was on Jesse Waters' show, that J.D. Vance has done 100 interviews. 100 interviews since he was named as vice president, and Tim Walz hasn't done 10. And this guy's he's been everywhere. So I don't think this guy's ready for prime time at all. I think he's going to go there and completely, and he's completely going to blow himself up, if not the campaign, which I expect. Thank you, Ralph. I got a hard break on this one. Let's get back into the BPS Traffic Center on the 8s with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of I-91, you got delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28, northbound 91, that moves well. Bramwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge from 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46 an Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow getting over the Bissell Bridge heading into South Windsor. If you are traveling on Route 2 eastbound, that moves well Glastonbury into Marlboro. Heading into Middletown right now, that's just a little slow, 9 northbound as you approach and get by the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84 in Cheshire, slowing by exits 23 to 22 on the westbound side of 84. 84 eastbound, a little tight, approaching the 691 interchange. If you're heading into Danbury, 84 eastbound, slowing by 5. 84 eastbound slows 10 to 11 in Newtown. And 95 southbound in New Haven, you're tight from exit 46 down to exit 44. And if you are heading into East Hampton this afternoon, we had some issues there near the middle school, and that was backing up traffic onto Route 66. But it looks like all those delays have eased out through that area, so that's good news there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The month of September ended on a dry note yesterday. Speaking of dry, our monthly rainfall total of less than 1 inch is well below the historical average rainfall total of more than 4 inches. Not only was September dry, it was a little warmer than average. Temperatures ran about 2 degrees above average. The month of October is off to a good start today. It will stay dry and tranquil the rest of this afternoon, with intervals of clouds and sun at a high of 74 and partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 53. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, just a few sunny breaks, high about 70, and partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 52, upper 40s tomorrow night in many outlying areas. Thursday looks nice, a mix of sun and clouds at a high of 74, and warmer on Friday. Partly sunny, Friday's high reaching 78. And from this vantage point, it appears dry weather will hold right through the weekend. Sunshine, patchy cloud cover both Saturday and Sunday. High Saturday 72 and Sunday's high close to 70. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Iran fired dozens of missiles into Israel today, a sharp escalation of the months-long conflict between Israel and Iran-backed militias that threatened to become a wider regional war. No immediate reports of any casualties. Cleanup continues in the southeastern U.S. as well as the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. The rains from Hurricane Helene inundated whole cities and towns. Death toll is now at 135. Back here, Southbury, FEMA is opening a temporary facility for those who need assistance applying for flood relief. That is located in Southbury Town Hall, opens tomorrow. 4 people under arrest in Stratford after police there say they broke up illegal street takeovers. They said several hundred vehicles had gathered in the supermarket parking lot on East Main Street just after midnight on Sunday. Dow down 173 on Wall Street, NASDAQ down 278, S&P down 53. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Dan Andelman here, and even though I'm the Phantom Gourmet guy, I gave myself a goal of dropping 50 by 50. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, which is right around the corner. And guess what? I'm already down 23 pounds in just 4 weeks, thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 works no matter your age or weight number. How about 40 by 40, 60 by 60? Heck, you could be aiming for 80 by 80. And I'm just one of the 23,000 other clients who are proof. Here's the kicker. I'm still eating throughout the day. No starvation, no guilt. So I'm not just losing weight, I'm actually eating my way to it. With my Newton Awaken 180 coaches' support, there's no way I can fail, and they will not fail you either. Seriously, if I can do it in my line of work, anybody can do it. So what's your number? 10, 20, 40? Let's do it together with my solution for weight loss. Thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
When was the last time you watched?
1 minute.
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. I was just running around, trying to get back, but all of a sudden I heard something quietly. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. We'll go back to the phones before we get into the traffic on the 8s. Michael, you still there?
I'm still here.
Thank you for holding, sir.
Oh, no worries. And I hope Todd's okay, but I really appreciate you filling in for him.
Thank you.
I love listening to you, and when I don't hear you, I listen to some of your older podcasts.
Wow, thank you. Wow, Michael, thank you. That is such a great honor. I appreciate you.
You have no idea. I'm able to listen to podcasts during my work, and I go back to old podcasts, and I love it.
Thank you so much, man. I'm sorry, I don't even know you, and I'm extremely flattered by you saying that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. No, thank you for everything you do.
Thanks.
I know you don't like to stop working. It's about the earlier caller that called about the East Hampton, all the police cars.
Yeah.
It was a 69-year-old woman that was shooting at schools.
Was it a threat, or was she actually shooting?
No, she was actually shooting at school.
No way.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Okay, because
on the traffic report, they reported a slowdown in that area, and I think it was probably from a lot of police presence.
Okay, because they were saying it was a report. Well, at least FSB is saying that it was a reported threat at the school. But then again, who knows? But I'm assuming that's because here's the East Hampton Police Department released this statement on Facebook. I apologize. They said the East Hampton Police responded to a threat at the middle school The school was placed on lockdown and searched out of an abundance of caution. The lockdown has been lifted after the school and threat have deemed unsubstantiated. There will be delays at pickup. No additional information will be released at this time, as it is an active investigation. We appreciate your understanding. So that's what they released about an hour ago.
That information is probably more accurate than mine.
Oh, okay.
But again, I love listening to you, and
I really appreciate that.
I love listening to your old podcast.
Well, some of those old podcasts, and I always say that those podcasts are a little more PG-13. Like, I don't do I've never been the guy on the air that does a lot of cursing and all that other stuff, because I think that's beneath me. I always found that, like, doing those podcasts, you could be as effective without all the language.
Well, it's kind of funny the topics you talk about, historically, and how things ended up. Same thing with Shattuck's Burn Barrel podcast, on Trump and stuff like that. He was really down on Trump for a while, but how things turn around is just you see things change.
Well, one of my favorite things, Michael, and I say it a lot, and if you listen to my podcast, which you have, I say it, we always should let history be our guide, because, those things let us know who the people are. Right? And you hear all these people talking about, they don't believe in that anymore. And I go, okay, fine. If they don't believe it anymore, then why are they doing this now? And I use that history to say, look, this is a testament to who people are or what things mean and why they are the way that they are. I saw the greatest video. I'm going to try to find it too. This woman talking about the way in which our children were brought up in the 80s and how that now affected the way the children are raised today. It's a very important video, because I talk about that on my podcast a lot, but I do that here too. Michael, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Again, humbly.
Oh, thank you. Love you.
Thank you, man.
You're the best.
I appreciate you. I love doing it. Let's get another check of our traffic with our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the southbound side of I-91. You're going to see delays from exit 33 down to 32A and B. More slow traffic down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 eastbound slowing I-91 over to the Bissell. 84 westbound delays approaching the Boakey Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got slow traffic 46 into the tunnel. If you're traveling 2 eastbound, that looks good, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound, you've got delays 26 up to 25 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, a little tight as you move between 26 and 27 in Cheshire. 84 eastbound, Danbury slowing 3 to 5. 84 eastbound in Newtown slowing 10 to exit 11. South 95 New Haven tight 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Intervals of cloudiness and sun the rest of today. High at 74, and then partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 53. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, high 70, and then turning out partly cloudy tomorrow night, a low of 52. Thursday and Friday look nice, partly sunny each day. High Thursday 74. Warmer Friday with a high of 78. Right now it is 70 in Middletown. It's 72 degrees in Wallingford and 70 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Are you tired of spending a fortune on new frames every time your prescription changes? At Lenses Only Optical Centers, you don't have to. You can save hundreds of dollars by simply getting new lenses in your existing frames. So why break the bank on new frames? Come to Lenses Only Optical Centers, where we can help you see better and save big with top quality lenses. Visit us today in Avon, Bloomfield, Torrington, Wethersfield, and now Plainville. Online at lensesonlyoptical.com.
Bob Steele was born in Kansas City, Missouri. After graduation, he ran his own restaurant. He was also a successful amateur boxer and went pro. But as the self-proclaimed second worst fighter in the world, he decided he needed to find something else to make a living. He loved motorcycles and appeared as a stunt rider in several Hollywood movies. and it was his passion for motorcycles that brought him to a career in radio. In 1932, he announced races for KGFJ in Los Angeles, and motorcycle racing brought Steele to Hartford. He announced evening races at Buckley Stadium, and when the racing season was over, he needed to look for a new job. WTIC had an opening for an announcer. Even though he had been turned down by several West Coast stations, he applied for the job and got it. His work as a stadium announcer had helped him develop a commanding vocal presence, which was required to work in radio.
Wow, honey.
1 minute.
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is...
In 10. You got callers. I'm going to put them in.
Okay, you got
that guy. Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the Radio.
And we're back. Scott Jennings of CNN. And I'm really going to say this before I get back to the phone calls. I truly believe that Scott Jennings is on CNN for viral videos and to save that network. He is single-handedly saving that network. They put him on every program to at least give at least some opposition to the rhetoric that's on CNN. At least the conservative, and he is single-handedly doing it. He is the most viral person on that network. Wherever you go, there was a Scott Jennings quote somewhere to be had. He called Tim Walz a buffoon the other day. It was classic Scott Jennings. But this one was perfect. And it had the right tone. No insults needed. Scott Jennings talking about the hurricane, this administration, and how they're handling it. And he even harkens back to the criticisms of George W. Bush during Hurricane Katrina.
I think the optics of this over the weekend for Biden and Harris have been pretty poor. I mean, North Carolina is underwater. These people are devastated and struggling. But you've got Biden at the beach and then saying, what do you want from me? I got on the phone while I was at the beach. And you've got Harris out raising money on the campaign and then taking a photo on a plane. Now, I remember George W. Bush was pilloried for having a photo taken from Air Force One. She's got a photo on a plane, and the earphones don't appear to be connected to the phone, and the paper looks like it's blank. So it looked like a stage sort of thing.
It does, and like I said, no one's taking this seriously. They're not taking it seriously at all. It's really sad, to be honest with you. It's really sad to watch because, as I said in the opening monologue, there are lives at stake. These people are concerned with power so much that they don't even understand that their feckless behavior, their policy, as it were, is costing people their lives in and around the globe. And the people in the news media who are doing everything they can to protect their image, wondering how... I remember when Rush first said this, and I remember listening to it, I want to say back in 2010, maybe 2011, when Rush used to say that the news media is always looking at events as they happen, as how are they going to affect their candidate or their person in the White House or in Washington. You know, there would be some issue in the world, And it's always, how's this explosion going to affect Washington and the White House? How is this attack in California going to affect the president? They seem to be more concerned with how these events make their candidate look good or bad. It's never about the people. And it's so true. It's so true. So when you see these people, when Joe Biden doesn't have the consideration, with a guy who's been telling us that he has been signing legislation to combat climate change, when every person in Washington, even our own Chris Murphy, is saying climate change, climate change, climate change, that when something like this happens to North Carolina and to Georgia, what do these people do? And Florida, of course. But what do these people do? I'm going to stay on the beach. I'm going to stay on the beach. I'm going to handle it from my phone. You're not there? You're waiting until Wednesday? Ugh. Back to the phones we go. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, just for new listeners. Let's go to Dave in Bristol. How you doing, Dave?
Yeah, I want to comment on the union.
Oh, yeah, sure. ILA, sure.
So are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, so I was a maintenance worker for a school system for 40 years.
Wow.
And had it not been for our union, the Board of Ed, and I'm sure other boards of ed, which I have heard, would outplace our secure jobs. Now, I do understand it's very hard to get rid of so-called people who are
bad teachers.
Anybody that fails to be excellent in their job. I understand it's very hard to get rid of them. However, if not for the unions, we would have been outplaced. Everybody would be out low bidding. The board, it's a business. The boards all over the country have become business.
So why does it that, wait a minute, hold on. With all due respect, Dave, help me understand something. You're saying that without the unions, people would be underbid. Not every, wait.
We would be let go and laid off just like any other private business.
Right. In other words, you would have to prove yourself. You would have to prove yourself in this industry in order to stay. Like your value would be based upon your work product, right?
Yeah, and after 40 years, I have lost all faith that they would be in our best interest.
But your work product is not. With all due respect, you didn't work in teaching, but with all due respect, their work product has been abysmal. If a private industry had worked like this, it'd be bankrupt. But because they're secure, because they have these sort of roadblocks in place to keep them from being fired, they continue to push out another horrible work product more and more. Our children, from generation to generation, get dumber and dumber and dumber. And they have no answers for it because no. Yes, it is. It is listen to me. It's the responsibilities of teachers to teach. It's not the response. Now, sure, parents need to play a role in that. But these children should be learning something that is, again, worthwhile so they can go out into the world and make better lives for themselves. Their product.
I think it used to be that way, the way that you're talking, but curriculums through school boards now have put terrible curriculums out.
Couldn't agree more.
So it's not so much the individual teacher. It's the school board.
Oh, I'm blaming the entire system. And in no way am I just, of course, this doesn't lay at the feet of teachers alone. This is the reason why the entire system and the corrupt system of those teachers' unions are the reason why we have the poor kids staying poor and the rich kids doing better. It's because they don't care about the poor kids. When they tell a poor kid, let me say this to you, Dave, and I was at Occupy Wall Street. I tell this story all the time. And I know people have heard it ad nauseum, but I got to repeat it one more time. I was at Occupy Wall Street, and we were talking about teachers. And the guy said, "Oh, you're attacking teachers now? How horrible are you?" And so I stood there, and there was a bunch of young kids, Hispanic and black kids, people who I'd never met before, who were clearly younger than I am. They were in their 20s. I'm like 40 at the time. And I said, I'm going to run a little experiment here. If you've ever heard a teacher in your classroom say, I don't care whether or not you pass or fail, I still get paid, raise your hand. Every black and Latino kid in that group, and I'm telling you, I was swarmed by at least 100 kids. Every black and Latino kid raised their hand. Not one of the white kids raised their hand. Do you want to know why? I haven't met any of them, because that is the way in which teaching is taught, or teaching is handled in the inner city for all of those kids who are not learning a thing because the teachers have not been held to account. They are going to get paid whether they pass or fail. That means that the system is damaged.
Or is it the unions, or is it the school boards, and is it up to
It is the union working more to protect its people than its product. That's the only part that I'm talking about.
The school boards aren't under unions.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the school boards. I'm saying that the teachers union have protected teachers to the point where, you know, it takes 4 years, sometimes 5 in some municipalities, for you to get rid of a teacher. In New York, they put them in a rubber room where they just sit there for eight hours a day, just sitting around drinking coffee and reading, and they still get their pay. And the reason why they stay there is so they can wait out to get their pension. They are protected. We cannot do that to our students and protect. We can't protect the teachers more than we protect the kids, or at least.
So one more thing. When I first started in the 80s, it was different.
Oh, of course it was.
Things were great. The teachers were not the ones that turned this thing around. It was you're right. It's the system. It came from the federal government. It was the No Child Left Behind thing. It just escalated. It just steamrolled and snowballed to a point of where we are now. But I can tell you, back then, great teachers, and I see teachers, older teachers that have retired and said, "Boy, I am glad I am out of this mess, because it's no longer the teachers in authority. Obviously, it's the parents and the kids that are in authority."
Well, not anymore. Because I will tell you right off the bat where we are today, as far as schools are concerned, and every parent will tell you and every kid will tell you that the teachers just don't care. And I'm for some odd reason, I mean, and I've been told this over and over again, that the conditions in schools are so horrible, teachers are leaving the profession. But nonetheless, the people who are tenured, if you hear them secretly, and there are plenty of videos to provide this, undercover videos by Project Veritas, who have gone to these teachers union conventions, and you hear these teachers talk about the children, how it's not about the kids, it's only about them. And I'm trying to find a video for you now, but I'll find it in a bit. But thank you, Dave. I'm sorry. Let me get to another call before I go to a break. Thank you, sir. Wayne is in Morris. How you doing, Wayne? Haven't talked to you in a bit.
Hey, yeah, I know. I've been listening, but I haven't been able to call. I just haven't been so tied up.
Well, that's always good.
Today I've been listening, and this incident in East Hampton that was just recently called in.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that there's a rash of this going on, and
right.
It's getting closer and closer together. I believe that these fake calls, these hoax calls, are leading to a crescendo that is going to end in an actual incident.
You think that'll be sort of a cry wolf incident?
I think what's going to happen is we're going to hear fake call after fake call after fake call, and then there's going to be a real one.
Yeah.
And when it happens, Connecticut schools will be taken completely by surprise because they're not prepared. And one of the contributors to this problem is Congresswoman Joanna Hayes, who has repeatedly said she's not going to put guns in schools. Now, she doesn't realize when she says this, or maybe she doesn't care,
right,
that every would-be nut job out there gets a smile on their face.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's protecting them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in essence, she's openly advertising the soft target that is our school.
Exactly. And she's putting these kids, our Connecticut kids, right in the sights of these people. And I don't think this is a coincidence that all these fake calls are happening. I think there's organization of some sort behind it, and we're going to get hit. I pray to God we don't, but I don't see it going any other direction. It is building to something. It is building to something, and I'm scared.
I'm nervous too. Exactly. I'm very nervous about exactly what's, being done. But, they care more about the gun or the object of a gun than they do about the actions of people with them. That's the part that I don't seem to understand.
The thing that I don't understand about Johanna Hayes is her husband's a cop. Cop that has worked undercover, okay?
It's not. Listen to me, Wayne. It's never supposed to make sense, dude. The essence of being a liberal means that everything must not make sense. It cannot. In order for it to exist in and of itself, it cannot. In one breath, if you want to take recent memory to help you understand why it doesn't make sense. When people were doing man on the street videos while everyone was wearing masks and said, should the government control what a woman does with her body? They say no. And then they go, well, what about COVID shots? And they go, oh, no, you can't refuse. You have to take a COVID shot. In the same sentence, in the same conversation, which again shows exactly, in order to be a liberal, you must, it folds in on itself. It should create a time-space continuum. It's so ridiculous. And that's, Johanna Hayes having a husband who's a police officer shows you exactly how out of touch she is on the subject. Just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I just don't get it, because she says she doesn't want children to see guns in schools. Well, she doesn't know anything about concealed carry, obviously, because children would never know their teacher or their administrator.
But they shouldn't be afraid of police officers.
They would never know.
Wayne, they should not. Listen, as I said before, we had that conversation here on the air. What Johanna Hayes should understand is, if it's a kid in the inner city, they already have a very tenuous relationship with the police. Imagine what it would be like if these police officers got to know these kids at a very formidable age. And when they grew up, they got to know said police officer or the department. They would have a better relationship with them, and there would be the community policing that they're always so gung-ho about. Let's take another check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I'm sweating now, Mark.
I know you are. I know. Somebody get this man a towel. You got to dry off there, Reese. Westbound 84 coming in Hartford. Got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slows a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 91 southbound delays 33 to 32. Again, 27 down to exit 28 on the Hartford Weather Seal line.
I'm over here in here hot too. Yeah. I'm looking around. Why am I hot? I look at the temperature and it keep rising. I said, what is going on? I got the AC on. I thought this dude, Matt, had changed it to heat. I said, oh my God.
A little tight as you're.
Yeah, it's 77 degrees in here.
Holy moly.
Harbor Park to the Ariconi Bridge. 84 westbound.
It must have been cold this morning.
Yeah, he must have been cold. He get here at like 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, it was cold.
On the eastbound side of 84, you've got slow traffic 10 to 11 in Newtown. South 95, New Haven, slowing 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Longing for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding thin and dull hair and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
WTIC weather.
The month of September ended on a dry note yesterday. Speaking of dry, our monthly rainfall total of less than 1 inch is well below the historical average rainfall total of more than 4 inches. Not only was September dry, it was a little warmer than average. Temperatures ran about 2 degrees above average. The month of October is off to a good start today. It will stay dry and tranquil the rest of this afternoon, with intervals of clouds and sun at a high of 74 and partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 53. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, just a few sunny breaks, high about 70, and partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 52, upper 40s tomorrow night in many outlying areas. Thursday looks nice, a mix of sun and clouds at a high of 74, and warmer on Friday. Partly sunny, Friday's high reaching 78. And from this vantage point, it appears dry weather will hold right through the weekend. Sunshine, patchy cloud cover both Saturday and Sunday. High Saturday 72, and Sunday's high close to 70. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A large police presence today at East Hampton Middle and High Schools following a threat. Police say the call came in around 1 p.m. on a report of an active shooter at the Childs Road Middle School. This is Police Chief Dennis Wosner.
We encountered an individual outside who was reporting that a relative was in some way, shape, or form inside the school hiding to perpetrate an active shooter situation.
Audio from WFSB. The school was placed in a code red lockdown, was later lifted. The threat was ultimately deemed not credible. Iran fired 180 missiles at Israel today, many of which were intercepted. CBS News national security contributor Andy Boyd.
If that is the limited extent of the Iranian retaliation, so to speak, against Israel, that likely will help to de-escalate the situation, because then Israel would not feel a compelling need to further retaliate against Iran.
No reports of any deaths. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says Iran will pay a price for its missile barrage. Former President Trump commented on the situation today while campaigning in Wisconsin.
Iran has been exporting terror all over the world, and it's been just unraveling. The whole Middle East has been...
Run out of here so fast and get home and kill everything in the house.
At an event in Monroe, government officials provided a reminder that financial aid is available for those who suffered damage from the August 18th rainstorm. FEMA has handed out $3 million in grants for home repair and other needs. Brenda Bergeron, the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, says the $42,000 FEMA grants are available, but it's up to homeowners to apply.
It's very important that you register with FEMA. You give them the information that they need. They will come out and see you. And you are also going to be able to go to 2 different disaster recovery centers in order to meet with people right up front.
Those FEMA centers are opening this week in Southbury and Wilton. Also, the State Department of Economic and Community Development has paid $4 million in grants for damaged businesses, and the Small Business Administration is providing loans. SBA business recovery centers are open in Monroe and in Oxford. For the first time in nearly half a century, dock workers have walked off the job at ports from New England to Texas. CBS's Naomi Ruckham.
The group representing shippers and ports says it has offered a nearly 50% pay raise over 6 years, but the union says it's not enough. The strike could cost the economy billions of dollars a day, right in the home stretch of the presidential race. President Biden has said he does not plan to intervene.
Long strike could disrupt the supply chain just before the holiday shopping season. Rosh Hashanah begins Wednesday at sundown. The celebration of the Jewish New Year, tempered somewhat this year by the nearly year-long war between Israel and Hamas, as well as strikes on Israel from Hezbollah to the north and Iran. Still, Rabbi Yosef Wolofsky with Chabad Jewish Center in Glastonbury says work to make the world a better place must not take a back seat. He says there's one important tradition among many.
Chief amongst them is hearing the shofar. That's the sound of a ram's horn, and that's meant to usher in the new year. That's meant to remind us that we are all God's children.
He says 26 centers across the state will offer places to worship and celebrate. Call 860-659-2422 for more information. On Wall Street, markets finished down today. The Dow off 173 points. The NASDAQ lost 278, and the S&P was down 53. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
October is Cybersecurity Awareness. As the leader in identity theft protection, LifeLock reminds you to update your passwords. Using the same password across multiple accounts makes you vulnerable to cyber criminals. Updating your passwords is only one way to help protect yourself. For comprehensive identity theft protection, you need LifeLock. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes issues that arise. Start protecting your identity today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word HEDGE to 989898. That's HEDGE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply. You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. Reese on the Radio, 5 o'clock focus, plus the rest of your phone calls for all of the events happening today. So I've been thinking about this all day, and it was driving me nuts. And again, I don't mean to make this about me, but you know what? This is one of those times where I'm going to say, I used to do a bit called Therapy Thursday. Let me give you the breakdown of this. I used to do a thing called Therapy Thursday on my podcast. And I used to say, it's my problem, you deal with it. And I'm looking for some advice here. Again, I hate the navel gaze, but you know what? It was on my mind, and I thought I'd make it interesting. I'm really, really having a problem. Or a problem understanding the whole idea about getting larger or bigger or more popular in this medium. Hear me out. It sounds crazy, but I don't. I promise you this is not me tooting my own horn. I don't want to be famous. I don't. I'm not trying to be. I look at Hollywood and celebrity and I look all of that stuff and it looks dark to me. It just looks compromising to me. It bugs the hell out of me. And it's not that I'm afraid. I know who I am. I understand exactly who I am. I just know what comes with it, the expectation from others. And it is impossible, in some cases very difficult. So, I shouldn't say impossible, just very difficult to not have the demand or the lure that comes with it. You got to be here. You got to show up there. You got to be a part of that. Am I crazy for just wanting to be a small town guy doing what I'm doing? Or do you think that I should accept whatever comes my way? Is that something, if you got the opportunity to grow bigger than what you are, do you just take it as it comes and whatever the pitfalls are, whatever the slings and arrows are, would you just accept it? To be honest, I'm fine where I am. I'm great where I am. I have some apprehension about going a little bit too far. Just a little bit too. I'm not trying. Again, I don't like fame. I don't. I'm just not into it. Let's ask a local hero, Mark Christopher, the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, if you had it all and you could do anything, would you be our BPS traffic guy for all of the stations, our sister stations? But someone offered you a chance to be like the national traffic guy. Would you do it?
Wow. Well, it all depends on the dollars and cents, basically.
So money would be okay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You don't think you'd lose a little bit of yourself in all of that? Because in essence, that you become more to more people, and the demand for you becomes greater if you think about it.
Right. It's weird because when I did television for like 4.5 years, and that gives you like instant credibility for some reason.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the way it goes.
Like people are like on the radio, like you can walk around, but you walk around, you go to a store or a mall or something, people are like, hey, Mark from 30. It's just you get a whole different feel because they can actually see you.
Yeah.
And it gives you like instant credibility for whatever reason.
Oh, no, I had that happen to me. I was at a Walgreens one day, and I've always been on the radio, and I was talking to my little brother, and the guy turned around and looked at me and goes, you're Reese on the radio, aren't you? And I went,
yeah, there you
oh,
go.
what the hell? He goes,
How'd
no,
you
man,
know that?
I know that voice.
You know the voice.
I was like,
there you
okay.
Go. Exactly. Well, I was hoping to be the next left fielder. There was Ted Williams for the Red Sox, Carl Yastrzemski, Jim Rice. I was hoping to replace Rice in left field for the Red Sox, but
I would have rather been an athlete than a radio host just for the amount of anonymity you can have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I just couldn't hit a baseball very well. So
neither could I.
That didn't quite work out. Hey, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now and you're on the eastbound side of 84, you're looking at delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Boakley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney Street. 91 southbound delays 33 to 32. Another bump down by exit 28. If you are traveling on the northbound side of 91, that's an easy ride. Crumble through downtown up into Windsor. Traveling east of the river, 291 through 84 moving well. 2 westbound a little slow in East Hartford, exit 4 to the 84 West. Merge 9 northbound, brief slowdown at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Quiet Waterbury if you're heading into Danbury right now. 84 eastbound slowing 3 to 5. 84 eastbound again slowing in Newtown 10 to 11. 91 in the Parkway moving well toward New Haven. Northbound Parkway, some slow traffic now as you move up on exit 60 in Hamden. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Low temperature of right around 53 degrees. And mostly cloudy tomorrow. High 70. Partly cloudy tomorrow night. Low 52. Trending a little warmer for the second half of the week. Sunshine and a few clouds Thursday. High 74. Partly sunny on Friday with a high up to 78. Right now it is 68 in Unionville. 71 degrees in Plainville and 70 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you need the Carter Mario Law Firm, Connecticut's firm for the injured. We are ready to fight for you 24/7. So go to getcarter.com or call us at 877-GET-CARTER.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
I'm Listening on WTIC News Talk 1080 was sponsored by Amplify.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928. Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We all hear the radio. IRS, they tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. 5 o'clock focus. I'm just trying to find this ridiculous.
Check.
This audio of Bob Channon, and I knew it was here. I knew I could find it. I was playing this. This was for Dave in Bristol. Just give me a second here, guys. I just want to hear this part.
And that brings me to my final and most important point.
This is, again, NEA General Counsel Bob Channon in 2009 at the annual event for the National Education Association, one of the largest teachers union in the country. Bob Channon.
Which is why, at least in my opinion, NEA and its affiliates are such effective advocates. Despite what some among us would like to believe, it is not because of our creative ideas. It is not because of the merit of our positions. It is not because we care about children, and it is not because we have a vision of a great public school for every child. NEA and its affiliates are effective advocates because we have power. And we have power because there are more than 3.2 million people who are willing to pay us hundreds of millions of dollars in dues each year because they believe that we are the unions that can most effectively represent them, the unions that can protect their rights and advance their interests as education employees.
Nothing to do with children. Just want to make that clear. I always go back to that audio. That's all you need to know. And that is, in a nutshell, why I got a problem with public worker unions. Now, back to the phone. Jim is in Wellington. We didn't get to him, did we? Okay, Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. Nice to talk to you again.
Always.
I'm all over the place because you had a couple of subjects.
I've been everywhere.
I wanted to touch on. Let's start with the teachers union. The only thing they, like as you said, they protect out of themselves.
That's right.
The union protects the union's power. I don't even think they're so keen on protecting even the teachers. And obviously, if they were a Fortune 500 company, they'd be bankrupt.
That's what I said.
Isn't it interesting that the only people that are bankrupt are the students that are being taught?
Damn. Oh, isn't? I'm giving you a round of applause for that one. It couldn't have been better said. It couldn't have been better said. The only people who are bankrupt are the people who are paying them to educate them. It's such a good point.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Isn't it funny that we all are paying for that? Now, I don't want to throw shade on every teacher out there. I brought this up on your because I don't believe it's the teachers per se.
Mm-hmm.
But if you break down where the biggest problems are in the public schools, and you address the administrative aspect of this,
sure,
the union aspect of this, and then the level of bad teachers that are protected, inordinately more by the union, you're going to find out it's the same policy that hasn't worked.
That's right.
Will not work, and is continuing to be promoted by the federal education department.
Right.
And then the policies put forth by those same politicians that need to have the chaos in the schools in order to perpetuate the power for the unions to stay in business.
That's all it is.
It really is that simple.
It is.
It's that simple. If the teachers, I'd love to see the teachers respond somehow, some way, and not have to do it where you know who they are. And let's talk about what's going on in these schools. Let's talk about whether or not they agree with the unions when it comes to some of the woke progressive educational materials that are in there. Let's talk about all of it.
You know what? It's all of those are good points, Jim. But let me tell you one thing before I let you go. One of the most important things that I recognize about this: when the teachers union are pushing back against these other sort of hybrid school ideas, right? When we have the charter schools coming in, I always ask myself: the charter schools are going to enter the fray as a private industry, which means if they do not educate their children, they do not get funded and they're closed down. In essence, they are dealt with like any other business, and they get to compete for those students. Which means if they suck, if they are horrible at their job, the teachers union should sit back and go, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter what those charter schools do. They're going to fail because they can't educate these kids either, and they'll be done in a year. And then they'll come crawling back to us. But the reason why they're fighting him so badly is because the private sector in education, they know, would beat the pants off of them because those people know that they have to educate those kids because it's their job if they don't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'd like to elaborate, but I know I've taken up too much
That's
time.
okay. I appreciate the call nonetheless, sir. Thank you. Chris is in Wethersfield. How you doing, Chris?
Good, Reese. Thank you. I'm going to try to make this real quick, too. 5 o'clock, as long as you're happy doing what you're doing and you're making enough money to support yourself and your family, whatever, be you, you stay you.
Thank you.
The caller Dave was talking about the No Child Left Behind Act. Well, that act was done by George Bush Jr. in 2002. So that was a Republican act. That's where he said it started when that came on.
Right. He blamed.
My third thing.
He called it. By the way, it's not George Bush Jr. He's just the son
Whatever
of.
it
He's
is.
not a junior. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm screaming semantics at you. I apologize. Go ahead.
No worries, brother. VP debate tonight, doesn't matter who wins. To me, I'm in the wrong tax bracket to make any advancement for any of these people. I'm the guy that Harris and Trump are going to come after to pay for all of their tomfoolery that they decide to do.
Listen,
An
Chris.
example of that.
I'm going to wait real quick. I want you, if you can you give me the first 100 days of the Trump administration? And then if I'm still here, you and I can have, like on the 100th day, you and I will spend some time and you can literally rattle off to me everything he screwed up in the first 100 days. Can you and I make a commitment for that?
Let's do it, okay?
Okay, because I just want you to give him an honest chance. And if the first 100 days, that will definitely set the tone for his administration. Is that fair?
Well, but he didn't give me an honest chance because he made me pay the 13% corporate taxes that they are getting the break on. And then you got the other one, Harris, who wants me to pay for sex changes for illegal immigrants. So where is somebody in my tax bracket going to make out for any of this? And
I hear you.
Not. That's why I say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well,
they don't care about me.
They don't care about you. And listen, all politics are personal. I get you. All politics are personal. And that's why, listen, I love your calls because, again, you don't sweepingly talk about any particular group. You do talk about it, how it affects you on either side. And I'll admit, out of all the people in the world, dare I take a moniker from Fox News, Chris, you to me are the most fair and balanced guy who calls this show, without a doubt.
I try. I only do that because it's so Republican focused, right? And I believe, like, look, hey, if I'm into abortion rights, then what do I got to do? I guess I got to vote Democrat. If I am into having a closed border, well, then I guess I'm gonna.
Oh, come on, Chris. There's no truth to that. Listen,
takes away some of my reproductive rights. You know what I mean?
Listen to what I'm saying, Chris.
I'm generalizing it because that's what we do. We generalize.
No,
like,
I do understand that, but I will put it to you this way. I believe that. Listen, even though I'm a conservative, the only thing I point out are the things that, to me, that I see are effectively, ridiculous. But on your point, as an individual, I will say this. It's okay for you to look at some of the liberal stuff and say it's ridiculous, as well as the stuff on the right to say it's ridiculous and call it. It's the reason why we've seen a growing trend of either undecided or independent voters. The reason why that voting base has grown so well. The reason why we got the Tea Party during the Obama administration, which, again, were Republicans and Democrats who joined together to, taxed enough already. That was an independent movement that is true to form today where we are as Americans. We're a little bit right. We're a little bit left. I think independents in this country are reasonably down the middle. Some of them who say that I'm no party, those people I watch out for, they always end up being on the left. But independents, I truly
think there's
believe.
Some give and take.
I believe there
is.
is.
On both sides. Why can't I have a closed border? But, and I know I'm generalizing and I'm putting
No, but these are policy things. So don't feel bad about generalizing it. You're talking about things that are in essence that people do vote on. So you can be for a closed border and for, reproductive protections, as the left calls it, whatever the case is, but you can be for both. Right. I think that I think the average person can vote on the things that, their ideals, right? On whatever morals they may have. I don't believe in telling a woman what to do with her body. At the same time, I don't think that they should have a porous border.
But if the president doesn't feel that those rights should be given to females, then that person who takes that issue to heart may have to vote on the opposite side just so they could get that one item or that one passion they'll have that person help them to see that passion come to fruition.
But wait a
You
minute, Chris,
understand what I
that's
mean?
where, Chris,
Yes, sir.
this is the point that I mean about giving Donald Trump a chance. Because many people got on
Yep.
his case in the last couple of months saying that he had switched, he had abolished Roe v. Wade, so he must be for a national abortion ban. But what was the guy saying when he was interviewed? He said, listen, I believe it should be states' rights. And again, if you are in a state where more people in your state agree with a woman's right to choose, if you are a Republican, you have to get elected. So you may have to ease up. White Mike calls her all the time and says perfect is not always, we can't sacrifice perfect for good. It's like that's the way we have to live. There are some things that we have to do. If you want to get elected, you may have to change your policy or soften your policy on those things that people that your stance on things that people care about. And if your state cares about abortion rights, you may have to be a conservative that says, okay, you know what, I leave it up to the people.
Exactly. You're right on point, Reese. This is why I love calling you and talking to you, because I like to get the feedback. So, but thank you so much. I won't take a lot of your time.
No, I love, listen, Chris, don't listen. Open invitation here, buddy. I love it when you call. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Rick,
brother, have a great day.
You got it. I know I'm not going to have enough time for Rick because I don't want to be unfair to him and only give him a minute. So Rick, Patty, and Mike, if you guys can hold up for me, I promise I will have you guys on the opposite side of the break in a minute. But anyway, because there's so much, it's interesting how this 5 o'clock focus thing works. I literally start a fire. And then I try to do a 5 o'clock focus and people are calling in about the stuff I talked about earlier. I've really thought about getting rid of the 5 o'clock focus because you guys are just, for some odd reason, I sparked this thing and you guys want to carry it off to the rest of the show. I totally get it. Don't get me wrong. It's not a criticism. It's just something that I've noticed. Maybe we should push back the 5 o'clock focus to the 5:30 focus just so everybody can chime in when they get out of work. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But anyway, for those of you who want to opine, do you believe that, look, I said earlier, that people who are talking to me and plugging at my ear saying to do this, do that, and to gain national attention, I'm not comfortable with it. I don't. I like it. And I think Chris said it well. If you're comfortable where you are and as long as you're getting paid well, just do what it is that you do. But sometimes I believe that, it may not be anybody's choice to. But I look at celebrity today with Diddy and all the craziness that's happening in Hollywood, and I'll be honest with you, I have never disliked. When I was a kid, I loved Hollywood. Loved it. I used to watch, my two favorite shows were the McLaughlin Group and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Because as a poor kid, Robin Leach would take me to Milan for my television. I understood what the south of France looked like because of those shows. And now I've gotten older and everything about it is absolute garbage. I want no parts. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now,
you know what's crazy?
What's that?
I was literally like 3 hours away from being signed to Diddy.
Moving well.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you go through him or was it through one of his proxies?
One of his proxies.
Wow.
446 is an avenue up to 40.
That would have been surreal. Was it a production deal?
Moving well east.
No, it was we was about to. Well, we had originally signed with Rough Riders. It was a rap and producer deal.
Okay.
My boy produced and I rapped, so it was like a tag team thing, and he had hooked us up with a manager, and the manager was one of Puffy's managers.
Wow.
Yeah, so we was managed by a bad boy manager.
Wow. Anybody I would know? Is it D-Dot or anybody?
No, his name was Kevin. Man, what is his last name? Kevin Gibson.
Oh, Kevin Gibson. Okay, I thought you were going to say Kevin Lyles.
95 southbound.
Oh, no.
Exit 46 down to exit 44.
Okay, Craig says he's trying to call, but he can't get through. Are the lines buzzing?
Yeah, they all booked.
Okay.
WTIC weather.
No, September
Terry, of
ended
course
on a
not.
dry
You're
note
fine.
yesterday.
You're fine.
Speaking of dry, our monthly rainfall total of less than 1 inch is well below the historical average rainfall total of more than 4 inches. Not only was September dry, it was a little warmer than average. Temperatures ran about 2 degrees above average. The month of October is off to a good start today. It will stay dry and tranquil the rest of this afternoon with intervals of clouds and sun at a high of 74 and partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 53. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, just a few sunny breaks, high about 70. and partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 52, upper 40s tomorrow night in many outlying areas. Thursday looks nice, a mix of sun and clouds at a high of 74, warmer on Friday. Partly sunny, Friday's high reaching 78. And from this vantage point, it appears dry weather will hold right through the weekend. Sunshine, patchy cloud cover both Saturday and Sunday. High Saturday 72 and Sunday's high close to 70. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30.
You heard DJ Finesse?
WTIC 1080 News. A threat brought out a large police presence at the middle school in East Hampton today. Police say they got wind of a threat implying a shooter around 1 p.m. Several law enforcement agencies responded. Ultimately, that threat was deemed non-credible. A Pomfret man is facing charges. He abused a 1-month-old baby. The case dates back to August of last year. The infant was brought to Day Kimball Hospital's ER with multiple rib fractures and brain bleeds. 22-year-old Zachary Busalil is charged. Warrant states he told police he fell on top of the baby after he slipped. He's charged with risk of injury, bond set at $100,000. On the heels of massive increases this summer, United Illuminating looking for yet another rate increase. UI says it needs $105 million from state regulators for infrastructure projects. If it goes through, bills could increase by as much as $15 a month next year. In Southbury, FEMA is opening a temporary facility for those who need assistance applying for flood relief. Hundreds of homes and businesses were damaged or destroyed by the flooding from a storm that dropped over a foot of rain between August 18th and 19th. Tim Walz and J.D. Vance will meet for their first and perhaps only vice presidential debate this evening. It may also be the last debate for both campaigns to argue their cases before the election. WTIC News Talk 1080 will air the vice presidential debate tonight beginning at 9. And John Amos has died. The actor best known for playing the patriarch of the Evans family in the 70s sitcom Good Times was 84. His family says Amos died last month. He also had roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Roots, and The West Wing on the small screen, as well as movie roles in Die Hard 2 and Coming to America, among many others. On Wall Street, the Dow finished down 173 points today, the NASDAQ down 278, and the S&P was off 53. MLB wildcard gets underway, and first pitch is just a few minutes away between the Mets and the Brewers in Milwaukee, Game 1 of the wildcard series. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Dan Andelman here, and even though I'm the Phantom Gourmet guy, I gave myself a goal of dropping 50 by 50. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by my 50th birthday, which is right around the corner. And guess what? I'm already down 23 pounds in just 4 weeks, thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 works no matter your age or weight number. How about 40 by 40, 60 by 60? Heck, you could be aiming for 80 by 80. And I'm just one of the 23,000 other clients who are proof. Here's the kicker. I'm still eating throughout the day. No starvation, no guilt. So I'm not just losing weight, I'm actually eating my way to it. With my Newton Awaken 180 coaches' support, there's no way I can fail, and they will not fail you either. Seriously, if I can do it in my line of work, anybody can do it. So what's your number? 10, 20, 40? Let's do it together with my solution for weight loss. Thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is a commercial for California Psychics.
1 minute.
It's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign...
Yeah, do you know DJ Finesse?
This is it. You won't...
Yeah, that was our DJ.
Oh, no doubt.
Or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really...
I stole his chain and he got mad.
Add some dramatic sound effects if you
Stealing
like.
someone's chain should do that.
It's the joy of certainty at California Psychics.
That's a longer story, though. He deserved it.
Babes,
Oh,
what
sure.
are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention.
And 10 come right in.
Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. All right, back to the phones we go. I want to get everybody in and give them an opportunity, of course, to speak. Rick is in Cheshire. How are we doing, Rick?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, sir.
I'm just a public school mope, so if I get any of this wrong, please help me out.
Okay.
The United Nations was formed at the end of World War II.
Correct.
Right? And I think it was mainly, like everybody probably knows, is for protection, to stabilize the world from war, maybe deter rogue nations from attacking attacking another nation.
Right. It was usually a commission to negotiate things like that to keep world wars from happening. The League of Nations is what it was called at the time.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, as Israel's a member of the United Nations, and they've suffered 3 attacks, because I've heard in the doctrine of the United Nations, attack one of us, you attack all of us.
NATO.
Is that something that's come out of the...
That's
something
NATO.
like that, right?
That's NATO.
Oh, that's NATO. Okay. But but it seems to me that before the last missile landed, people from the United Nations were calling for restraint right away.
Indeed.
Continued restraint from Israel.
Indeed.
As of today. And I don't know of any other nation that they would do that. They 181 ballistic missiles. Back in April, there's 110 missiles.
Mm-hmm.
October 7th of last year. And they continue to ask Israel to show restraint.
Yep.
Yet we've all been talking about, and everyone's been talking about, these are proxies of Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And a year ago, no one would think that was the case, but it seems like it's right out there now. It is, obviously. And how did Iran become more powerful in the last 3.5 years?
Even longer.
Was it? Yeah, but wasn't it?
It was us.
Wasn't it sanctions lifted from them? Weren't they?
Absolutely. Trying to appease them by lifting sanctions, giving them money that we had borrowed from them. You know, in essence, under the guise that we're going to have an agreement and an understanding that we'll have peace with that, never did, and knowing damn well that no one in Iran was going to adhere to such agreement ever, to know that even though they're dropping off boatloads and plane loads of cash money to the mullahs, that we still don't even speak to them directly. We take another geopolitical enemy, China, and ask them to be our liaison to talk to the mullahs. We don't even talk to them directly. We have an administration that wouldn't even bother to tell those people, hey, don't. Again, what did Joe Biden say? He told Iran, any retaliation against, when he was asked by Scott Pele, you know, what do you tell Iran as far as any attacks on Israel? He says, don't. And what did the mullahs do? They go, absolutely we will. It's ridiculous.
Well, they keep doing that. Yeah, and Kamala parroted that and said, don't. And
exactly.
Then today you get a representative today speaking and saying that if Iran uses this to attack any United States military around the world,
yeah, we'll respond. They're not going to respond. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, sir. I got to go to BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Thank you, buddy. I can talk about this all day. Sorry, Mark. Thank you, man.
No problem. Thank you, Reese. And if you're heading into Hartford right now, if you're on the southbound side of I-91, you got delays 33 to 32. Again, 27 down to 28. Looks real good. 91 northbound, Cromwell to Windsor Locks. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Boakley Bridge to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 through 84. That looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury's a little slow, 26 to 25. And again, 84 westbound a little tight as you approach the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing by 3. 84 eastbound in Newtown tight 10 to 11. And if you are traveling on the northbound side of I-9 of the Parkway, look out for some slow traffic now as you move between exit 59 and 60. Right lane is shut down with a crash there. Delays are approaching exit 59 in New Haven behind it. Also some rubbernecking delays on the southbound side of the parkway as you move from exit 63 in North Haven down to just south of exit 60 where the accident is. That is all rubbernecking. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly to at times mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 53, and stay mostly cloudy tomorrow, high 70. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, a low of 52. Thursday, partly sunny. Pleasant Thursday afternoon, a little warmer, high 74, and even warmer on Friday, a mix of sun and clouds at high 78. It's currently 68 in Coventry, 71 degrees in Canton, and 70 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Experience relief from oral inflammation and infection at Columbia Dental. Led by Dr. Mohammadi, our practice operates 7 days a week with extended hours, dedicated to restoring peace and comfort to your smile. Visit columbiadental.com.
Bob Steele was born in Kansas City, Missouri. After graduation, he ran his own restaurant. He was also a successful amateur boxer and went pro. But as the self-proclaimed second worst fighter in the world, he decided he needed to find something else to make a living. He loved motorcycles and appeared as a stunt rider in several Hollywood movies. And it was his passion for motorcycles that brought him to a career in radio. In 1932, he announced races for KGFJ in Los Angeles, and motorcycle racing brought Steele to Hartford. He announced evening races at Buckley Stadium, and when the racing season was over, he needed to look for a new job. WTIC had an opening for an announcer. Even though he had been turned down by several West Coast stations, he applied for the job and got it. His work as a stadium announcer had helped him develop a commanding vocal presence, which was required to work in radio.
Hi, this is Joel Johnson with Johnson Brunetti. Do not make mistakes when it comes to Social Security decisions. Get our free guide, Social Security Decisions. Call or text the word security to request your copy. 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word security to 1-800-705-1232 to get your free guide. 1-800-705-1232.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Are you ready for a fantastic deal on eyewear? Visit Lenses Only Optical Centers today and get a complete pair of glasses starting at just $99. That's right, new frames and lenses for only $99. Whether you need single vision, bifocals, or progressive, we have the best quality lenses anywhere. Plus, we have an amazing selection of designer frames to choose from, all at unbeatable prices. Only at Lenses Only. Visit us today in Avon, Bloomfield, Torrington, Wethersfield, and now Plainville. Select frames and single vision only. See store for details.
If you're driving a car or truck
1 minute
and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-3183. That's 800-291-3183. 800-291-3183.
What's up, everybody? You know
who it is. You know who it is.
Damn it, it's already time. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Come on, man. It's already time to go. It's ridiculous. All right, let's hurry up and get into it. By the way, those T-shirts are not going to sell themselves. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Get yourself a Scallywag shirt. Plan your work and work your plan, and regular just old Reese on the Radio shirt. We got the price down. They're really just, $30, just not even a lot of money. But please buy one. They are here. Well, at least, no, they'll be here in a couple of days. and then I'll be sending them out. And I want to thank everyone who has actually already purchased some Reese on the Radio swag. Take a picture of yourself in them when you receive them. I'd like to see them. And it gives us an opportunity to actually start doing some giveaways as well. So go to ReeseOnRadio.com for more details. Patty is in Naugatuck. Hello, Patty. Welcome back. I haven't talked to you in a bit.
Hi, Reese. Nice to hear you as always. A few different topics that acquired over the last hour or so that you were talking about, too.
Okay.
I guess the first one I want to say about President Trump's leadership,
Yeah.
firewall, and quite honestly, Constitution, liberty. So that's enough I'll say there. But I wanted to say about schools in Waterbury. I grew up in Waterbury, and they had the best schools around. You could walk to school. Everything was absolutely fine. But I'll tell you, one of the big things that I think changed homes was because people who didn't have the fathers in the home, the children coming from the homes didn't have the interest in school. It is completely different. And when you go from children outside, a lot of them were playing outside. They have other people in the neighborhood. They have subcultures in the neighborhood.
Sure.
And school is not taught from them and reinforced as early on in life like it was pushed in my life. And my parents decided before we were born, we were going to college. That was it, period, So truthfully,
back then you didn't have kids if you had no intention of them going to college. I mean, that was kind of the template. It's like when you were looking at having a child back then or even planning for parenthood, it was under the idea, we're going to have a kid. Can we afford to put them through college? People were preparing for that before they even got pregnant.
My father worked 2 jobs my whole childhood. But the other thing I'm going to say also was, children need to actually have incentives. And they actually, you get to a point now, children don't have the confidence anymore. I actually tutored somebody who actually was a policeman to get his bachelor's because he didn't have the confidence in school because it was never really high up on.
Yeah.
And you know what? He finally graduated. But the point is, when children early on in school, when they're uninterested in school, they lose the ability to learn at the same rate other people do because they're always behind because it isn't a focus even in the home. I think the way that you change that is you inspire them to have examples of people who succeeded. When you have people that are role models, they now actually can have a vision that they are able to accomplish that, and they don't feel themselves. They took the SATs out of school. They took the honors program out of school. They are taking all incentives out of school. They're dumbing down education, dumbing down math, dumbing down English. So, what are these kids learning in school?
Nothing.
It has to be by design, Reese.
Patty, I got to let you go with that, but you're 100% right. There's a level of shame in these students that they can't, they never recover from. Because they feel like they're so behind. They feel either silly or dumb. Yeah, they don't know how. And there's no one there.
Terry's gone.
One thing about you.
Yes,
one
ma'am.
thing about you, you say you had all these long hours working a day and you can't. I knew someone who I married someone the same way. And you want to know why? Because he raised himself from when he was very young. He also was a teenager. He was on his own, and you never forget being hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Patty. Much appreciated. Terry's in Texas. What's going on, big guy?
He said he's not there.
Oh, he's not. Oh, you just said that. I apologize. I didn't hear you. Dave is in Brantford. How are you, Dave?
Yeah, how you doing, Reese? A little minor apple polishing for the host. That would be you.
Apple polishing.
You put so much effort into those throwaway promos that maybe most of your listeners don't hear because they run during the day. And I'm thinking of yesterday's about your show. It's the show with the black guy who sounds like a white guy. That is so good. And I know last week, and I only heard it once, so I won't get it right. You were mocking Joe Biden, saying something or other.
Oh, yeah. So like the show that Joe Biden calls Business Reserve.
Excellent. I'm driving along, and you get a laugh out loud moment. I appreciate your effort at creativity, even when it doesn't count. It's a throwaway promo. Good work. Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you. I do. Thank you, sir. I actually love doing those promos. I got to do another one. I try to keep them entertaining, and because if somebody's just driving through the state and they hear it, I know that they're going to say, "Well, who is that guy?" And so I appreciate you saying that, Dave. Thank you. Craig is in the car. What's up, big guy?
I hate following Dave. So funny.
What's up?
I really do.
What?
Can't you do traffic again or something?
I'm sorry, buddy. What do you got for me?
two of the topics you're talking about, I sent you a thing in the chat that
Yeah.
I have two family members that were state troopers, retired 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Both of them became school resource officers, and neither one of them went back for a second year.
Wow.
The experience was so bad. They said the kids were terrible and the parents were worse.
I mean, was it a violent experience? Did they have to break up fights all the time, things like that?
No, it's every conflict there is. It's not my kid's fault, and how dare you accuse my child
Right.
and all that. As a matter of fact, one of the two of them took his son out of public school and put him in private school the next year.
Well, that's a positive thing. I mean, that's positive. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm actually going to applaud that guy.
So, and the other thing is this, Reese. Look, you've got star written all over you. We all know that. And, from a selfish perspective, I don't want you doing anything but staying focused on Connecticut because you do a great service for us. But, man, you can reach for the stars and just do it on your own terms. And I'll give you two examples of people that have done it. One is Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
He was at the top of his game for decades.
Love him.
And the other one was El Rushbo.
Yeah.
El Rushbo he had no pressure on him to do anything he didn't damn well feel like doing.
But he did make those mistakes. Remember, he did the TV show, and he did it for a lot of years, and he often regretted that. And he started, putting himself in. And you know what it is? It's so funny you mention this, Dave. Rush Limbaugh talked about it before his passing about, I think somebody, in fact, it may have been Snerdley who asked him, why did he do things like Donahue, right? Why did he do these television programs? And he said at the time, there was this demand for him. He was growing so rapidly that his managers and the people working him were like, get out there, get more and more people to listen or to at least recognize you. And he went there gung-ho doing his radio program on these television shows, and it never came over. It never went over very well. It went over in a lot of ways, he says, like a lead balloon. The people weren't ready for it. You had to come to his show to understand what he was doing. And he used to also say before he passed away, about 8 years before he passed away, he would say, give me 1 week listening to me on the air, 3 hours a day for 1 week, 5 days. And I promise you, you either become an avid listener or you at least start thinking remotely the way that I do. And he would start inviting people who disagreed with him to listen to the show, and they took him up on a challenge. He did it on his own terms, but it was later on. And that's my whole point. I don't want to be that guy who sort of gets dragged, because there are going to be people who are going to say, no, we got to get you out there. We got to get you out there. And I'm going, I don't want to be out there. I love what I do. And I love Connecticut.
The difference, Reese, is you've already figured that out. He was figuring it out in real time.
Yeah.
He didn't know how much he hated that until it happened to him. And that's why he hated TV. He had no control over it. It was other people controlling what was going on.
That's right.
I remember him talking about that. And you've already got it figured out. So you play at your own course, man. Just do it.
Yeah.
If you want to just do a syndicated radio show, do it. If you want to write books and go on book tours and talk shows and all that.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Greg Dillon has got this thing figured out. That man has been on a book tour for 2 years. I want to do what he's doing. Thin Blue Lie in bookstores now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just don't forget about us. That's all.
I will never do that. That's another thing. I don't want to be that far. I cannot be far removed from the people who have supported me. It's the reason why I don't use the word fans. I use supporters, because that's what, I'm not in any stratosphere, if you would, if not the supporter of the people who have given me so much love. That's why I call the people who listen to the show my supporters, not my fans. I don't need fanatics.
Yeah,
Support is all I'll ever need.
You know what we are, pal?
What's
that?
that?
You know what we are? We're friends who haven't met yet.
There you go. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. Trust me, that's coming up soon. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate all of you. And it was, I don't know, it's something I had on my chest today. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I just wanted to get it off my chest. If I can't talk about at least some of the stuff that's going on in my mind, I kind of always felt like let me tell this story before we get out of here. One of my friends, we were doing a podcast together, and I think his girlfriend said, in a very begrudging way. You know that guy Reese, he talks about everything that goes on in his personal life. I don't understand how he can talk about his personal life on the air like that. My response to that was, well, I don't think I could possibly relate to anyone, if I don't talk about the things that happen in our everything. It is a talk show. Yes, it is about the issues. But in order for you to engage with your audience, you do have to tell a little bit about yourself. And sometimes you have to talk about the things that are uncomfortable, the things, your fears, your hopes, your dreams, your loves, your desires. I think that people recognize that. And some people need, not guidance. I don't like using that word, but sometimes they need encouragement. They need to know that some of the people that they listen to, if not look up to, are struggling with the same things that they're struggling through, and they sometimes need hope. And I think that it is incumbent on us to share with people their life in some way, not to be so closed off, to recognize that in so many ways we are just like each other, no matter what our ideological differences are. Some of us go through the same things. I say this to kids all the time. The biggest problem with children today is they think that they're going through something for the first time, and no one's ever experienced it ever. Like their little situation is unique. And this is the reason why you don't share with people what you're going through. But if you did, if you have just a little bit of what you're going through, you may find out that there is a host of people in the world who have gone through the exact same thing, who have learned from it, and could possibly assist you in yours, in your life. So that's the reason why. So this was just something that was kind of on my mind. I don't do this often. I talk about some of the things that happened in my life, but this was just one of those things that it was grinding at me today, and I don't know why, but it was heavy on my heart, and I needed to share it today. So I hope that you guys don't think that I was being a little, narcissistic in some way. If it comes off that way, I apologize. That wasn't my intent. It was just a question that I had, and I really did need your help. So thank you. Thank you for your help. Like I said, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Stupidest thing that I read today. New York Times celebrating Hezbollah. Weird. Wasn't like I haven't told you that before. Also, there's a video on there of a China port that is fully automated. This video is about a minute long. Go there to check it out. Even the trucks that are driving around moving the freight, it's all automated, and they show you inside the remote control room where the workers are moving the unmanned vehicles through the stockyard. It's incredible. And that's what the ILA is pretty much fighting against, the automation. I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie. Watching that video, that is a weird thing to see. But the whole time I was thinking, we are this close, and I'm putting my two fingers separated from each other by less than a half an inch. We are this close from Skynet. I'm telling you. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you, and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I did not say my closing yesterday, so I want to make sure that I get it out today. I am Reese on the radio. He is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark.
Hey, Reese, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound, a little slow at 32 A and B.
All right, good sir.
Thank you.
Into the Cromwell.
3 more days.
I knew you'd do it.
84 slowing approach.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
84 eastbound, a little tight, 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet in Middletown.
Okay. Thank you, Michael A. You guys are wonderful, as usual. And we will see you tomorrow. Be safe. I don't think we're not going to do a post show of the debate tonight. So just stay tuned at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon on the West Coast for our analysis. I don't know if you know this, but we're not allowed to play any clips longer than 3 minutes tomorrow. Because CBS News has said that we cannot. CBS is actually, they're doing a whole copyright thing. So we'll have clips because I'll be, of course, getting them in real time. So we'll have clips tomorrow, and we'll try not to inundate the whole show with it, right? But nonetheless, thank you, folks. I always appreciate you being here. and checking out the show. And we'll see you tomorrow. My voice will be better, I promise. All right, guys, be good.